Here in 2017 tonight as they take on the Worcester State Lancers in a rescheduled game. It'll be Josh Gerson towing the rubber for the Beacons against Tyler Berry for their rivals from Worcester. It's the Beacons and the Lancers. That's up next right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Good evening and welcome to the BBN. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudris. When the season began last month, hopes were abound for a Beacons squad returning many of their key contributors from a year ago. A team that won 30 games en route to an NCAA tournament appearance. While 2017 has had its bumps, the club is riding a bit of a hot streak, having won 5 of its last 6 dating back to March 17th. Tonight they'll send freshman Josh Gerson to the mound in what is expected to be a staff outing. That is, Gerson might only go a few innings as Steve Witkowski and the rest of the Beacons bullpen provide support against a Lancers lineup averaging 5.36 runs per game. I bring in my partner in crime, Steve Consiglio, now. And Steve, as a former member of this Beacons bullpen, you know what it's like to have to come in and perform out of the bullpen. How is that different, knowing that in a staff game like this, you're most likely going to get called on early?
Well, it's a little tough with colder weather, John, and lucky tonight, a warm night, no real weather effects, no rain, and but on the bench, you know, you get a little anxious just waiting for your number to be called. You know you're going to come in, but you just want to run down to the bullpen, you know, keep your body warm and keep everything going so you could be ready when your number's called.
Absolutely. Last night, the Beacons split a doubleheader in Dartmouth against the Corsairs. UMass captured the opener 12-3 behind 7 solid innings from Dan Mantoni. The senior star also contributed with the stick, going 2 for 4 with a homer and 3 runs batted in. First baseman Chris Fowler also went deep, while third baseman Kyle Boudris collected 2 hits and 4 RBI en route to a 9-run triumph. Game 2 wasn't quite as fruitful for those in Beacons blue. Lefty JT Morin struggled early, forcing the bullpen into the game in just the 3rd inning. This after Fowler's second homer of the day in the 1st inning gave the Beacons a 3-0 lead. That was a deficit the Corsairs were game to overcome, as Dartmouth scored 2 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and then 2 in the 7th off Matt Tully to take the lead. Dartmouth reliever Benjamin Lodge then slammed the door, pitching the final 3 innings while allowing just 1 run en route to his 3rd win on the campaign. So, Steve, the Beacons offense has played well this year. They're averaging over 6 runs a game. One player is our player to watch, Chris Fowler, and he is somebody who has been electric with a couple of home runs recently. Who other than Chris really has to step up the rest of the way if the Beacons are going to come through and perhaps reach it back to tournament dreams?
You got to look at the two of the captains, Dan Mantoni and Anthony Searles. Dan has kind of went through a little rough patch and kind of woke up yesterday at Dartmouth, and he hit a home run. And Searles, the other one, who had a walk-off earlier this season, also had like a slight rough patch. But you look to see them both put the ball in play and bounce back to see hopefully they can find themselves a win.
You see Chris Fowler as our player to watch there, somebody to keep an eye on today. Chris starting at first base for UMass Boston this evening. Take a look at the all-time series between Worcester State and UMass on your screen right now. You take a look there, Steve. The team's evened up 19-19, so this is for bragging rights and an ownership of the series lead. However, the Beacons are red hot of late, having won 5 of their last 6 and 10 of 14. The last meeting was last year on April 21st. The Beacons won 9-5. The Lancers' last triumph 2 years ago, a 10-3 win on April 26, 2015. And one of those players that needs to step up, Anthony Searles. He struggled with the stick, hitting below the Mendoza line this year. But he's a great defensive catcher, and he has had success against these Lancers in the past. 2 for 5 with a couple of home runs last year. So Anthony hopefully can mimic his performance last year against this Worcester State club.
Absolutely, and actually I remember one of those home runs. It was a bullet down the right field line that just managed to get out over the park and almost hit the scoreboard at Worcester State. And you look to see him use the whole field. I mean, his power alley's right field, right center. And hopefully he can get a hold of an off-speed pitch and just send it that way.
Anthony in the lineup tonight for Brendan Eigebrot's club. We take a look at 4 things to know about this matchup as UMass Boston and Worcester State get set to get underway. As mentioned, the Beacons have won 5 of their past 6, despite losing Game 2 of the doubleheader on Sunday. The Lancers are 2-6 against New England D3 teams, and the Beacons are 4-1 at home this year, 20-9 overall since coming into Monon Park last year. And Worcester State's Dan McWill has caught 7 of 11 runners stealing, which will be an interesting thing to observe here, Steve. Beacons are a team that loves to run, especially at home. We'll see whether or not McWill's capabilities behind the plate inhibit UMass Boston's ability to run, because that could be huge tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody wants to get a runner in scoring position. I'm confident this game's not going to be a low-run game, no 0-0, 1-0 game. So I think the offenses are going to take advantage of the fact that there's going to be a lot of relievers out there that may not be, used to being out there, a couple of freshmen. And we'll see who Worcester State throws out there.
You absolutely will. Let's take a look now at that Worcester State Lancers starting lineup as they are brought out by their head coach, Dr. Dirk Baker, in his 22nd season. You see it there. Leading off and playing center field, Jake Ryan. The first baseman batting second is Ben Palatino. The designated hitter is Adam Barry. He'll bat third. The cleanup hitter in left field is Mike Ferrara. The third baseman is Seth Leslie. He'll bat fifth. Batting sixth, the right fielder, Kevin Larkin. The catcher, Brian Bonaquisti. He will bat seventh. Batting eighth is Mike Powers, the shortstop. And the second baseman and nine-hole hitter bringing up the rear is Keenan Kolanda, and they will face the starting pitcher Josh Gerson for UMass Boston. Let's take a look at the Beacons' defense as they square up to take on their rivals from Worcester State. You see there the starting lineup for the Beacons. Leading off playing left field will be Nick Herzog, the shortstop. Batting second, Charlie Hugie. The designated hitter, Dan Mantoni, will bat third. Kyle Boudris is in the cleanup spot and at the hot corner. The first baseman, our player to watch, Chris Fowler. He has a couple of home runs on Sunday. The left fielder, Ryan McCormick, is batting sixth. Hitting seventh and backstopping is Anthony Searles. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Sal Frashino. And bringing up the rear, the nine-hole hitter, hitting .303 on the year, second baseman, Josh Lopez. So those batters will take on Tyler Barry, a senior. He's 0-2 with a 6.38 ERA this season. Barry on the campaign, as mentioned, has not put together any decisions yet, but this is a Lancers team that knows how to put up some runs. In their last matchup against the Dartmouth Corsairs last Thursday, a 6-4 win in which Worcester tallied 3 runs in the top of the ninth inning, they came back to win despite trailing late. Outfielder Mike Ferrara and third baseman Seth Leslie each delivered RBI base knocks to bring home 3 runs and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Relief pitcher Kyle Sullivan pitched 2 shutout innings in relief to improve to 2-0 on the year this year. Offensively, the Lancers are led by Jake Ryan and Ben Palatino, and they'll need continued production from the bottom of their order if they hope to overcome a Beacon squad averaging an impressive 6.57 runs per game. It's the Beacons and the Lancers, and that's coming up next right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We are going to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will have the opening pitch between the UMass Boston Beacons and the Worcester State Lancers right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
As the Beacons are introduced here and welcomed out onto their home diamond here at Monin Park. Reminder, this is a Beacons Broadcasting Network production along with Steve Consiglio. I am John Skudras. Beacons coming in at 9-5 overall, 1-1 in the Little East Conference. This, of course, a non-conference matchup against the MASCAC opponent from Worcester State University. Worcester State brought in by Dirk Baker in his 22nd season, associate head coach Dave Wygren, assistant coaches Rick Smith, Stephen Donovan, and Dave Nero. And the Beacons, of course, brought in by Brendan Igebro, associate head coach Kevin Kelly, and your assistant coaches Bobby Barrett, Dan Gamble, Ryan McDermott, and Sean Callahan. So as we get set for the national anthem, we are going to pause for a moment. When we come back, we will have the opening pitch between UMass Boston and Worcester State.
As we honor America with the playing of our national anthem.
The starting pitcher for UMass Boston will be Josh Gerson. Gerson, a freshman, and somebody we haven't seen much of, number 39 in white, a right-hander out of Melville, New York, standing at 6'1", 190 pounds. The kid throws hard. He's got decent off-speed stuff, and as you see him getting set, there are his numbers. Not much so far, Steve. Just 2 appearances, 3 innings pitched. He struck out 3 and walked just 1. He actually has not allowed a hit yet this season in those 3 innings, but he has hit 2 batters, and so control is a concern for the freshman from Melville, New York.
Yeah, passing down the number 39. I had control issues myself, but it's not in the number. I mean, the kid throws hard. It could have just left his hand early. I remember down in Florida, he threw an inside slider to a left-handed batter, and it happened to nick him in the toe. I mean, it's just an unfortunate pitch, so it could have just been a rare occasion. But I'd like to see Josh really attack the strike zone, you know, make Worcester State put the ball in play and trust his defense behind him in order to get out of it, any struggles.
That defense behind him, we went over moments ago. We'll go for it again. From right to left in the outfield, Nick Herzog, in right. In center, Sal Fruscino, and in left field, Ryan McCormick. Around the diamond from right to left at first base, Chris Fowler. Second base, Josh Lopez. Shortstop, Charlie Hughey. And Kyle Boudris is at the hot corner. And the battery mate for Josh Gerson this evening will be number 13, Anthony Searles, who had an electric performance last year with a couple of home runs against these same Lancers. They will be opposed by Tyler Berry, but the leadoff hitter to face them will be Jake Ryan, the center fielder, hitting .400 on the campaign. He is the leading hitter for these visiting Lancers. Again, along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudris. Josh Gerson is just about set to go as he meets with both Boudris and Searles, and Jake Ryan steps up to the dish. Ryan, this will be his 11th start, 16 for 40. He's got 3 extra base hits, including 2 doubles, 7 driven in, a .525 slugging percentage. He's got a great eye, Steve, 8 strikeouts, just 7 walks. Left-handed hitter is in, and Gerson toes the rubber, and the windup and the first pitch of this evening's affair is cut on and missed by Ryan for strike 1.
I don't know if you could pick up on that, but that was a 2-seam fastball that just lost his bat. Completely missed the barrel because there's so much movement from Gerson.
The 0-1 pitch from Josh, that one outside, and I believe that might have been another 2-seamer, Steve, as it cut it just a bit off the plate. Jake Ryan, a native of Northbridge, Massachusetts, standing 5'8", 180 pounds. Here's the 1-1. Nice off-speed pitch, cuts right over the outside corner, and it's 1 and 2 strikes.
It was a good backdoor slider there. Very good.
We'll see whether or not Gerson decides to stick with the soft stuff. Here's 1-2. Comes back with the heat. That one slugged out towards shortstop. Gobbled up by Charlie Hughey. Fired across the diamond, 6-3 for the putout. And the opening batter of this evening's affair is retired, 6-3. 1 down, and that'll bring up Ben Palatino.
Ben Palatino.
Palatino plays first base, batting second. He's hitting .395. Second leading hitter on this club. Leads the team in extra base hits with 7, including a home run. Also leads the way with 11 runs batted in. Wind up in the first pitch from Gerson. Heater there, just a bit high. 1 and no strikes. After Palatino, it'll be Adam Berry. Anyone reaches, Mike Ferrara will step up. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Gerson. That one left up, 2 and no strikes.
Yeah, he's just getting under the fastball a little bit. Just got to stay on top and finish down, and he'll be down the zone in a minute.
Gerson, as there is a call for timeout. It looks like a ball came in from the bullpen out there. Look at the wheels out there in right field from one of the Beacons relievers getting back.
That's Burgos. Tell by the high socks. He's a quick one, real quick one.
Heck of a performer on the mound as well. Here's a 2-0 from Josh Gerson. Fastball right down Broadway, 2 and 1 strike.
We actually used Burgos as a pinch runner late in the season last year. Not quite a pincher only.
A jack of all trades, if you will, is stepping off the rubber, looking for a new sign, is Josh Gerson. From the windup, the 2-1 pitch to Palatino. Nice breaking ball right down the heart of the plate for strike 2.
He's got to make sure he keeps that down, but that's a very filthy pitch.
Yeah, he's showing pretty good command of the off-speed stuff here through the first couple of batters, and now he's looking to get his first strikeout, perhaps. Didn't like what he got from Anthony Searles and steps off. Beacons have won 5 of 6. Looking for 6 of 7, a 2-2. Popped up, infield, and in play. Gerson is called off by Fowler, and Chris will make the play for the second out. So Palatino pops out weakly to first base, and that's 2 down here in the top half of the first inning. And it'll bring up the designated hitter, Adam Berry.
That was a Hagen curveball. He got away with that. It was a little too far up and out, but he kept it out of the strike zone, was able to get the out.
And it's a big one as Berry steps up to represent the heart of the order. Berry, a senior from Auburn, Massachusetts, standing at 6'1", 190. Big open stance from the left side. Breaking ball on the inside corner for strike 1. Berry on the campaign, 222. 1 home run, 7 runs batted in. 10 for 45. This is his 12th start of the season. This one slapped to third base and right through the hole between third and short, as unable to grab that one was Kyle Boudris at the hot corner. And so it's the first hit of the ball game for the Lancers, and Adam Berry is a 2-out base runner.
That was a good piece of hitting, not trying to do too much, just send it the other way.
And if there's any way you'd like to face the heart of the order, it's with 2 outs and nobody on, and that's evidence why. So Mike Ferrara will be the next one up, the left fielder, number 7 in your scorebooks. Sitting .310 with 8 driven in this year. From the stretch for the first time, here's Josh Gerson's first pitch to Ferrara, and that one is a beautiful 2-seamer right on the outside corner, 0-1.
Seems to have good control of that fastball so far, besides missing those 2 up in the zone early on.
Ferrara, a sophomore out of Easton, Massachusetts, 5'9", 175. Right-handed chucker to a right-handed hitter. Here's the 0-1. Curveball slapped right up the middle and a base hit right through the hole. So seeing eye single for Mike Ferrara. Back-to-back base knocks with 2 down. Brings up Seth Leslie as the Lancers threaten with 2 down in the first.
Seth Leslie.
Leslie hitting .303 with 4 driven in. The third baseman by trade. He's a junior out of Phillipston, Massachusetts. So a little bit of a early jam here for Josh Gerson. He allows his first 2 hits of the 2017 campaign. The runner goes from second, slap to shortstop. Hugie gobbles it up, goes the short way just in time to get Ferrara, who was beaming down the baseline. So UMass Boston does allow 2 hits, but Josh Gerson tiptoes his way out of trouble. We are through 1/2 inning here from Monin Park in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the Worcester State Lancers 0, the UMass Boston Beacons 0 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris. The subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
Tyler Berry will be the starting pitcher for Dirk Baker's Worcester State Lancers here at Monin Park as he gets set to take on UMass Boston's starting lineup. It looks like this. Leading off and playing right field, number 34, Nick Herzog. Batting second, the shortstop, Charlie Hugie. Hitting third, the designated hitter, Dan Mantoni. In the cleanup spot, the third baseman, Kyle Boudris. At first base, batting fifth, Chris Fowler. The 6-hole hitter is in left field, Ryan McCormick. Batting seventh, the catcher, Anthony Searles. Batting eighth, the center fielder, Sal Fruscino. And the 9-hole hitter and playing second is number 14, Josh Lopez. They will face off against Tyler Berry, a 6'1", 165-pound senior out of Oxford, Massachusetts. Berry on the campaign. He has no record. He's 0-2 as he gets set to toe the rubber. 0-2 in 4 starts, 18 in the third innings, 27 hits, 18 runs, 9 strikeouts, 7 walks. So not a great strikeout to walk ratio, Steve. So it's something the Beacons may want to take advantage of. Does not strike out a lot of hitters.
The Beacons aren't really a patient team. They like to get on, and hit the pitch they get, especially Herzog here is a very aggressive hitter. If he gets a fastball, he's going to swing at it, especially if it's where he wants it.
It is Nick Herzog to lead things off for UMass Boston. Nick in right field, hitting .281 with 1 home run and 13 driven in this year. Crowds the plate from the right side, and the first pitch is off the inside corner with a fastball, 1-0. Herzog making his 15th appearance, 16 for 57, tied for the team lead with 11 runs scored as he rips this one down the left field line. That one is just a bit foul, as Herzog was inches away from getting a leadoff double for UMass Boston.
There's the aggressiveness there. He's not afraid to swing at any pitch he likes or even doesn't like if he can put it in play and put it in a place that gets through.
Herzog has just 3 extra base hits on the campaign, a couple doubles and a home run.
That was the first home run on Beacons in the Beacon season down in Florida. It was an absolute moonshot to left center field.
Well, he's been delivering for UMass Boston through the first 14 games, 13 runs driven in to lead the team. We'll see if he can get the rally started the first as the 1-1 pitch from Barry is a beautiful curveball in the dirt that Herzog just was completely fooled on after being having the string pulled on him. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Barry ahead 1-2, right-hander delivers, fastball low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. After Nick, it'll be Charlie Hugie and then Dan Mantoni. The 2-2, curveball's high, 3 balls and 2 strikes, so a great start for Nick Herzog, at the very least, making Barry throw some pitches. Here's a 3-2 pitch, outside ball 4, so a great at-bat for Nick Herzog. After he fell behind, after getting fooled on a curveball, he battles back to work a walk, and it's a leadoff base runner for the 2, 3, and 4 hitters, beginning with Charlie Hugie.
That's the kind of bat you want out of your leadoff hitter there. He kind of got behind 1-2 and was able to lay off a few good pitches, but not in the strike zone.
Charlie hitting .250 on the campaign, 3 runs batted in. He's got 4 extra base hits. He slaps this one towards short, gobbled up there. They might think too. Charlie's got wheels, and he does beat it out. So it's a 6-4 fielder's choice. Retired at second is Herzog. Advancing to first base is Hugie. And so on the 6-4 putout, 1 down, and a runner remains at first base for Dan Mantoni. That was a nice play on the turn from Mike Powers to Keenan Colanda.
Designated hitter number 7, Dan Mantoni.
And so Dan Mantoni steps up, and if there's anyone in this lineup to be worried about as an opposing pitcher, it's Dan the Man. He has been an absolute terror over the last 4 years. First pitch to Dan is a curveball right down Broadway for strike 1. It's 0-1.
Yeah, he's earned the respect of the rest of the league getting first pitch curveball there. Everybody knows he's a good hitter, and he deserves the respect.
7 extra base hits, including a home run for Dan Mantoni. Here's the 0-1 pitch, fastball. That one's right there, 0-2 to Dan Mantoni with Kyle Boudris waiting on deck. Mantoni, phenomenal pitcher in his own right, won yesterday against the Dartmouth Corsairs in the opener of the doubleheader as a quick pickoff move to first from Barry is not in time. Mantoni behind in the count, 0-2 from the stretch. Barry's 0-2 pitch, curveball, swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Mantoni is fooled on the cheese, and that will put it all up to Kyle Boudris with 2 down and a runner at first base here in the bottom of the first inning. Boudris batting cleanup this evening, playing third base. He's hitting .294 on the campaign, no home runs, 7 batted in. And the native of Medford will step in from the left side. We'll see if the Beacons decide to send Hugie here with 2 down. Beautiful fastball on the outside corner, 0-1. Chris Fowler waits on deck. He of the scorching hot stick. Couple of home runs last time out. There's a curveball left up. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kyle Boudris. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Scudritz. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Here's a 1-1. That one slapped out of play up the third base line, and it'll reach the stands. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I like Booty to try and get ahead of something and poke it through that hole on the right side. And first baseman's holding somebody on, big hole. He could roll one over, not hit too hard, and still get on first base.
We'll see if that plays out. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Barry. Curveball way up, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So deuces are wild. 2-2, 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. As Tyler Barry resets from the stretch. Right-hander ready. The 2-2 pitch. Fastball fouled again out of play up the third base line, and that will keep things even to 2-2. In case you're wondering what we're doing here, this game was originally scheduled for tomorrow evening, Tuesday the 4th. However, due to inclement weather on the way in the New England region, they moved it up this evening. The 2-2, and that one is again fouled out of play up the third base line, so staying alive, as the Bee Gees would say, is Kyle Boudris. Looking to keep this inning alive for Chris Fowler. Pickoff move to first, and that's just to keep the runner at first, Charlie Hughie, close. They are playing Boudris to hit opposite way as the center fielder shaded out towards left. Here's the 2-2, well inside, that one in the dirt. Hughie was running on the pitch, and it was a curveball, so a beautiful decision from Charlie as he is successful in stealing second. So, with 2 down, the Beacons now have a runner in scoring position. That's sound, fundamental baseball from Charlie Hughie.
Now let's see if Booty can come through with a runner in scoring position. He's been very good in the past, and let's see what happens here.
That's the 7th stolen base in 8 attempts for Charlie. So now a 3-2 pitch from Barry, and he steps back and takes a look at Hughie. Sometimes when base runners have an easy go to second, they think about going to third, though with 3-2 and 2 outs, that would be unlikely. Here's the 3-2, and that one is high for ball 4. So they wanted nothing to do with Kyle after the bases, or rather after the stolen base. And so there's a 2-out walk to put 2 runners on for the player nobody should want to have to deal with right now, Chris Fowler, our player to watch.
And the catcher goes out to talk to the pitcher, try and calm him down, keep him down in the zone, make sure Fowler doesn't get anything up, and he can pull over the right field fence.
So Tyler Barry, in a bit of an early jam, came in with a 6.38 ERA. Beacons would love to balloon that early on. The runner at second is Hughie. He advanced and reached on a fielder's choice, then stole second after Mantoni struck out. Kyle Boudris walked. Here is Fowler from the stretch. Barry's first pitch, swung on and missed. And that was a big cut there, and I believe that was a changeup. And a good decision there to throw some off-speed stuff at a red-hot hitter, and Fowler was looking to go yard with the first pitch. So Barry from the stretch, ahead 0-1. Off-speed pitch high. Another changeup. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Two down here in the bottom of the first, no score. Tyler Barry from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. That one skied foul. It's going to reach the seats. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Fowler.
It was a good inside fastball there. He spotted up, and Fowler just couldn't get his hands around on it.
It's 1-2 now to Chris Fowler. The runner at second is Hughie. The runner at first is Boudris. 2 down, bottom of the first inning between Worcester State and UMass Boston. Barry from the stretch. Takes a couple of peeks and the 1-2, and that one slapped foul off the screen. 1 ball and 2 strikes. In the top half of the first inning, the Lancers threatened with a couple of singles. The Beacons were able to get out unscathed. Beacons are threatening here without the benefit of a hit. Couple of walks to Tyler Berry's line so far. Beacon's trying to make him pay for his lack of command. From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and just getting a piece of it is Fowler to stay alive. That one a worm burner in the dirt that Fowler was just able to make contact with. If Chris does reach, Ryan McCormick is due up next.
McCormick's a freshman, but on deck he's a veteran hitter. He can really mash.
Pickoff move to second. No one was covering, and so almost a disaster there as chucking it over to the shortstop was the starter Berry.
Almost seemed like a little miscommunication over there.
That can happen, especially on the road. Here's a 1-2 pitch coming on up here to Fowler. That one's ripped into the gap by Chris Fowler, who stays scorching hot. That's going to score at least one run as Hughie could moonwalk home. They are going to send the runner from first. That is Boudris, and he will score. It is a 2-run double here in the bottom half of the first inning from Chris Fowler. RBIs number 11 and 12, and UMass Boston has taken a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Fowler took a low change up there, sat on it, and just pulled it, hit it real hard in that right center gap.
The left fielder, number 16, Ryan McCormick.
So 2 runs batted in to right center field for Chris Fowler. He has been absolutely on fire, and he continues to swing a sweet stick as McCormick will step in with 2 down. Curveball on the inside corner, 0-1. So that scores Hughie and Boudris, and the Beacons now have an early advantage, and that's exactly what you're looking for when you're looking at a game like this, in which you're going to expect to see a lot of relievers in a staff day, as that one is on the outside corner. Boy, oh boy, expanding here late in the first inning. It's 0-2 to McCormick, who came in hitting .353. And you said he's a freshman, but he's somebody who can really swing it. Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed at the high heat, and McCormick is retired. It's the first strikeout of the second strikeout of the inning for the starter Tyler Berry. However, the damage is done. UMass Boston does score 2 runs on 1 hit. They do leave 1 man on base. We are through 1 inning from Monin Park in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the UMass Boston Beacons 2, the Worcester State Lancers 0, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Bonaquisti, Powers.
Stays scorching hot. That's going to score at least 1 run as Hughie can moonwalk home. They're going to send the from first. That is Boudris, and he will score. It is a 2-run. Josh Gerson back on the rubber for his second inning as the starter this evening, where he's not expected to go much longer than 2 or 3 frames. The Beacons expected to have a bullpen day. But nonetheless, he did get through the top half of the first inning relatively unscathed, and so he will face 6, 7, and 8 to begin inning number 2. It'll be Kevin Larkin, the right fielder, Brian Bonaquisti, the catcher, and Mike Powers, the shortstop.
Right fielder, number 42, Kevin Larkin.
Yeah, we can see already there's a little bit of movement in the Beacons bullpen. Somebody took off their jacket. And seems to be loosening, just kind of keeping his body loose or getting ready to start throwing.
First pitch is a curveball from Gerson and a dandy of one on the outside corner for a strike. Larkin on the campaign hitting .262, has a home run with 3 runs batted in. As that one's in the dirt, 1 ball and 1 strike. Meant to mention that the first baseman for these Worcester State Lancers, Ben Palatino, enjoying a birthday this evening. So happy birthday to Ben Palatino. We hope the Beacons don't give you a gift. Here's the 1-1, and ooh, way up and in, and that one plunks on the front elbow the right fielder Kevin Larkin. And so we mentioned in the pregame, Josh Gerson didn't give up a hit yet this year, but he had 2 hit by pitches. And the HBP rears its ugly head again. It's a leadoff hit by pitch, and Larkin is on base.
That was a fastball. He didn't really get his hips through, and his arm didn't come through as a result. Kind of just left it up and in, as his release point's a little bit off-center, so he got him right in the shoulder.
That'll bring up Brian Bonaquisti, the catcher, hitting .211 with 2 driven in this year. We'll see if they decide to put anything on here early against UMass Boston. Bonaquisti, a native of Pittsfield, Massachusetts. Senior stands at 5'9", 175. Pickoff move to first, not in time.
Beacons have a few guys from Pittsfield as well. Alex Carasoto, Steve Wachowski, Ryan Grandy.
A lot of characters in that triplets you just mentioned. Do a lot of work with the Beacons Broadcasting Network as that one is popped up, and a beautiful pitch to get it out here as Fowler will come on in and squeeze. That looked like a changeup perhaps that was left up. Nonetheless, it is an out. Pop out to first, second pop out to first in the first 7 batters, and that's 1 down for Mike Powers. Powers, the shortstop, hitting .231. No homers, 4 driven in. A native of Weymouth, Massachusetts. Gerson takes a peek over at Fowler at first from the stretch. And Gerson's first pitch to the senior is in the dirt. Good block from Searles. Exactly what Anthony brings to the plate, or rather behind the plate, for UMass Boston. Keenan Colanda waits on deck, then the top of the order with 1 down and a man at first base in the top half of the second. There's Gerson. That one's ripped to center field, dropping fast, coming in for Shino. He won't get there. And that is a looping single. Heading on out is Hughie to gobble it up, and that'll at least prevent the base runner Larkin from advancing to third. However, it is the first single of the inning, second of the game, and it puts 2 men on base with just 1 out for Keenan Colanda.
And Colando's not your typical 9-hitter. He was hitting, I think it was 340. Both 9-hitters in this game aren't really 9-hitters. They could easily be hitting 1-2 if somebody else wasn't as scorching hot.
You said it. Colanda 346 in 8 starts so far this year, 10 games. And taking a look over at second is Gerson, to no avail. Colanda, a native of Sterling, Massachusetts, stands 5'7", 150, freshman. Packs a lot of pop in that diminutive frame, though. He does have 9 hits and 1 run batted in. From the stretch, Gerson's first pitch to Colanda, fakes the bunt, takes a fastball in the outside corner, 0-1.
Seems the umpire's got a pretty wide zone today. Colanda wasn't happy with that call on the. It almost seemed like it was in the other batter's box, but as long as he's consistent, you can't complain.
Exactly, that's all you ask for. And those of us who watch plenty of these games know it's not what you always get. Here's the 0-1. Whew, that one was left up, and Colanda had to duck for dear life, and that's going to be a wild pitch as this one sails to the backstop. It's ball 1, but more importantly, it advances the runners to second and third with only 1 out, where perhaps a ground ball can get a run in. And so, came in with a couple of hit batsmen in just 3 innings of work. He has hit 1, and now throwing a wild pitch here in the second inning after a relatively smooth first. Here's the 1-1. And that's a beautiful off-speed pitch as he pulled the string on him. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jake Ryan on deck, the leadoff hitter for these Lancers. And this would be a absolutely enormous strikeout to get if they can do it. From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch. Curveball swung on and missed. He struck him out. Beautiful off-speed pitch there on the slider, rather, from the right-hander Josh Gerson as he gets Colanda to swing through it.
It's really getting lucky with these high curveballs here, John.
That's the last thing you want to do is hang a curveball like that, but you know what? If you're able to get away with it, you'll breathe easy. So that is the first strikeout of the day for Gerson.
Almost seemed like a defensive swing from Colanda. If that didn't break, it might have got him in the helmet.
Well, that brings up Jake Ryan. He's 0 for 1, grounded out to shortstop in the first inning. First pitch is a bit up, 1 ball and no strikes. Jake came in hitting 400 on the nose, so that has since dipped below that plateau. A big hit here, though, could tie the game and get him right back towards it. Gerson from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Beautiful curveball right on the outside corner. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. That was a well-placed backdoor off-speed pitch, and it's exactly what the doctor ordered. Steve, not sure if you can see who's out there warming for the Beacons, but it's definitely some action out there.
No, I can't really see, but I just got our producer, Seth Orensky, on it. He's got his binoculars, and he's going to take a look.
Swinging through the fastball there is Jake Ryan. It's 1-2, and so now Gerson, trying to get through this second inning with the lead, has a chance to do so with 1 more strike. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position, and the Beacons leading it 2-0 in inning number 2.
Be a big out if Gerson can get out of this unscathed.
From the stretch, the 1-2 pitch, just a bit inside. Good block there from Searles, and now Deuces will be wild at 2-2. The birthday boy, Ben Palatino, waits on deck.
And it is Steve Witkowski out in the bullpen warming up a little bit.
So Witkowski is warming, but Gerson is trying to stay hot. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out with a breaking ball. A beautiful piece of pitching to tiptoe out of trouble for Josh Gerson. He strikes out Colanda. He strikes out Ryan, and he gets through 2 innings unscathed. We are through 1.5 here from Monin Park on the campus of UMass Boston. It's 2-0 Beacons right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Tyler Barry is the man chucking from the right side on your screen. He's back out for his second inning as the starter for Dirk Baker's Worcester State Lancers. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudras. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Beacons will have 7, 8, and 9 to face off against Barry here in inning number 2, up 2-0. It'll be Anthony Searles, Sal Frascino, and Josh Lopez. Searles, a great defensive backstop, catches almost the entire season for this Beacons club over the last couple of years, but he's struggled at the dish this year more so than we're used to. The first pitch is just a bit low, 1 ball and no strikes. Anthony hitting just 173, no home runs, 6 driven in. This is a guy we expect to have a lot of pop, and in this his senior year, not the way he'd like to start, as a 1-0 is on the inside corner.
How many RBIs he's got there, John? I mean, he does have a walk-off double. I did see that, and
6 so far this year, as the 1-1 is a curveball cut on and missed.
Has been a little clutch, even though he has been hitting. As long as you can get those runs in, that average doesn't really matter.
Lead tied for the team lead with 6 extra base hits. The problem is he only has 9 hits overall, as the 1-2 is in the dirt. So when 2/3 of your hits are extra base hits, you think that's pretty impressive. The problem is the hits just haven't been there. A lot of that is just bad luck, and we'll see if he can find his 4-leaf clover this evening as the 2-2's in the dirt. 3-2 for Anthony Searles.
Gotta hope he doesn't expand the strike zone. That's why he's been struggling a lot, chasing those sliders away, and even laying off that changeup down there is pretty impressive, and it's good to see him change his ways.
That one's grounded towards shortstop, gobbled up out there by Powers, who flings it over to first base. 6-3 on the putout, 1 down, as Searles is retired.
I'll bite my tongue there because he chased a fastball up there a little bit. I don't think that was going to be strike 3. Could have been on first base if he took the walk.
He's got the most strikeouts on the team with 18, but he also leads the team in walks with 9, tied with Chris Fowler. So he's a guy who sees a lot of pitches. See if that can help turn it around. Sal Frascino is the batter here as Sal skies this one to center field. Moving to his right to make the play is Jake Ryan, and in front of the track he will squeeze it for the second out. So Sal flies out as one center fielder skies it to the other, and there's 2 down here in inning number 2. I'll bring up Josh Lopez, and as you mentioned, Josh not hitting like a 9-hole hitter this year. 303 on the campaign with 5 runs batted in. It's something you always like to see from the bottom of the order is an ability to get on base, and that's something Josh certainly does. First pitch from Barry is inside. 1 ball and no strikes.
Barry's been pretty quick this inning. I'd like to see if Josh can work an AB, work an at bat, and see if he can get Barry deeper into his pitch count.
There's the 1-0. That one on the outside corner. Good frame job, and as you said, the outside corner seems to be open for business. Working very quickly now is Barry. 1-1 curveball, slapped the opposite way. Gobbled up at first base. Tough play, but PFP pays off as pitcher fielding practice leads Tyler Barry to the bag from the birthday boy, Ben Palatino. He will lead off when we reconvene for the 3rd inning. But right now, we are through 2 here from Monin Park in Boston, Massachusetts. It's the Beacons 2, the Lancers nothing right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Steve Witkowski will be the new pitcher for UMass Boston as the right-hander will toe the rubber for Brendan Eigebrote's club. Steve on the year, 1-0 in his only appearance, a 9.00 ERA. He came in and pitched just 1 inning of relief, gave up no hits, but did give up an earned run, and the reason for that is he walked 3 and struck out just 1. So Steve had a little bit of a command issue earlier on in his only appearance, but the 6'4" native of, as you mentioned, Pittsfield, is the new pitcher. What should we know, Steve, about Steve?
Well, Whitco had a very good summer last year in New York. I think he was the pitcher of the league at one point, and he pitched in the All-Star game. He started the All-Star game, excuse me. He did struggle a little bit last year with his control, but he dropped his arm angle. He's throwing almost sidearm now, and he's been able to get a little bit more control as he doesn't show it in warm-ups, but I'd like to see him get that curveball slider over for a strike to get ahead of batters.
He's got that sidearm delivery, which can be torture for righties. See if it pays off as he will face Palladino, Barry, and Ferrara. 2, 3, and 4. So welcome to the pitcher's mound. You get to face a player hitting .395, then the heart of the order for these Lancers.
Got to watch out, though, because Steve has a tendency to hit a couple batters, as he does have that arm side run that gets in on righties.
Well, we know Steve from his sideline reporting for the men's and women's hockey broadcast as well as men's and women's basketball. Does a great job for the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We'll see if he can continue his success on the mound here this evening as that one is a fastball bit low, 1-0. Palatino is 0 for 1. He popped out to first his first time up. .395, 1 home run, 11 RBI. I have to assume since he's a freshman he is celebrating his 19th birthday today as the 1-0 is right down Broadway, 1-1. From the stretch, Witkowski's 1-1, slap foul up the first base line and out of play. So he's ahead in the count now, 1-2. And sometimes when you're ahead in the count, that lack of command can actually pay off. He's got a big smile on his face right now, so that's a good sign. What else is new, though? If you know Steve Wachowski, it's very rarely without one. As the 1-2 is in the dirt, good block. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know about you, John, but I love the hometown stirrups from the Beacons today.
The old-fashioned stirrups here at Monin Park as the Beacons look to bring an old-fashioned flavor to the scoreboard as well, up 2-0, that one in the dirt. We mentioned these two teams tied up in the series, the all-time series, 1919, so a bit of bragging rights here historically on deck today. Here's a 3-2, way outside, and Witkowski misses, not even close, as that is a leadoff walk to Ben Palatino, and what do you not want to do when you get brought in out of the bullpen? Surrender the leadoff walk. And that is a leadoff base runner for Adam Berry.
That wasn't a tough walk either. He didn't miss close on any of those 4 balls, excuse me. And you like to see him be more around the strike zone. See if he can get that slider in for a strike and fill it up.
Here's the first pitch to Berry, and that one's low. 1 ball and no strikes. Berry singled back in the first inning. He was stranded at second base. Came in hitting .222 with a home run and 7 driven in, as Anthony Searles wants to discuss things after, I believe at least, 5 consecutive balls after an 0-2 count to Palatino. Ferrara waits on deck. Leslie in the hole. Witkowski gets his bearings on the mound. Right-hander back on the rubber. Palatino, the runner at first base. Witkowski takes a peek over and steps off. Palatino on the campaign. 2 stolen bases. He has yet to be caught. Here's the 1-0. Swung on and missed. Good pitch there. 1 ball and 1 strikes to Adam Berry. Beacons playing Berry to go opposite field, as here's a 1-1. That one is low. 2 balls and 1 strike to the designated hitter. There's a huge hole down the right field line if Berry can reach it. Especially between first and second with Fowler holding the runner on.
Wicko does throw hard, so you can kind of shade him that way, not expecting to pull, but you never know what kind of hitter.
There goes the runner. That one chopped off the plate, and it's going to at least force a play for Witkowski, who bobbles it and has no play. They're going to call it an E1. It would have been a very difficult play anyway with the ball shooting off the home plate.
My fault. I didn't see it shoot off the home.
But nonetheless, and now they are going to change it to an infield single, and I think that's the right call. Witkowski may have had a chance, but honestly, even if he caught that cleanly, I don't think he would have had a play at it. So a leadoff walk followed by an infield single, and the Lancers are poking the bear here. Down by 2 in the top half of the 3rd inning. It brings up Mike Ferrara.
Now, Wicko's got to make sure he doesn't get down on himself, throw a lot of strikes. He could be expecting a bunt here, but it is the 4-hitter.
First pitch, and Mike grounds this through the hole on the left side, a base hit. They're going to send the runner home, and instead they hold him at the last moment as coming up gunning was the left fielder McCormick. And that will load the bases with nobody out for Seth Leslie. So you have a leadoff walk, an infield single, and a well-hit single to the left side. And Witkowski greeted rather rudely by these Lancers this evening.
And we can see from here the bullpen is stirring, and we think it's Joe McGuire, number 25, but he's a sophomore. He's been pretty good over the past year and a half.
Right now, though, Witkowski's going to have to get himself out of a big jam here. The infield is not in. They're surrendering a run for maybe a double play, as there's a breaking ball that's just a bit low. 1 ball and no strikes to Seth Leslie, who's 0 for 1. He grounded into a 6-4 fielder's choice to end the 1st inning. From the stretch, the 1-0 pitch. That one's in the dirt, blocked by Searles. And right now, Witkowski is really laboring out there. He's behind 2 balls and no strikes with the bases full of Lancers and nobody out here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Lancers have 5 hits. Beacons have just 1. But UMass is up 2-0 as that one is low, ball 3. And now with a 3-0 count, Wachowski is in danger of walking in the first run of the game. Steve from the stretch. The 3-0 pitch, and he just put that one right down the heart of the plate as he should. And that one is there. Ball for a strike, rather. 3 balls and 1 strike. Kevin Larkin waits on deck as Seth Leslie, who came in hitting over 300, swings and misses at that one. A beautiful fastball. Now, just like that, the base is loaded by a 3-2 count and a chance to get a big out number 1.
Yeah, you definitely want to get first out by strikeout here and make sure the runners don't move up.
3-2, chop foul up the third base line, and that's a chance for Leslie to stay alive. Keep in mind, in the bottom half of this inning, the Beacons do also have the top of the order and a chance to get these runs back if any are given up. Here's the 3-2. Ooh, check swing. Did he go? It's going to be tough from the second base side for him even to notice, and that is ball 4. So Witkowski with his second walk of the inning, and he walks in a run here in the top of the third. It's an RBI for Seth Leslie, make it his 5th on the campaign. And it is 2-1 now. Beacon still on top.
Right fielder number 42, Kevin Larkin.
So Larkin is the batter, still nobody out. Base is still full of Lancers, and Larkin, who was hit by a pitch his first time up, almost gets plunked again. And that would have brought in the tying run as Witkowski is all over the place here in the top of the third.
He's thrown more balls than he has strikes this inning. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a mound visit if he throws another one right here.
The 1-0 pitch, and Witkowski sees this one skied back behind the plate out of play, and so there's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 run on 5 hits, no errors for Worcester State. 2 runs on just 1 hit, also no errors for UMass Boston. Witkowski ready. The 1-1 pitch. Curveball, a beautiful one, is getting way out and ahead of that one was Larkin, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Now, the coaches trust Wicko so much with the bases loaded situation because he's got such good stuff. Like we saw his curveball right there. He might have the best stuff on the team if he could locate it.
There's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Struck him out. Quick snap throw to first from Searles is not in time. So a big out number 1 on the strikeout swinging. Larkin is retired for the first time today, and there is 1 down for Brian Bonaquisti.
Catcher number 24, Brian Bonaquisti.
And Steve, this is where that lineup gets precipitously less potent with Bonaquisti coming in at 211, Mike Powers 231. Here's the first pitch. Bonaquisti on a squeeze play, and they got him gunned down. Trying to run the runner back, they will. Now there's 2 runners at third, so one of them's out as Adam Berry is going to be the man guilty and heading back to the dugout. So a beautiful play by the Beacons. Good idea by the Lancers to try the suicide squeeze, but unsuccessful to say the least.
Now Searles tagged the guy first, who is still standing on third base, and number 40, who just walked off the field, second. That's why there's this confusion. I don't know if they're going to place the other guy back at third or call them both out in this situation.
Typically, the lead runner would be the one I think that would be called out. Now, unless the runner was off the bag. And they're actually going to send Barry back, and they're going to call the back runner out, and that's going to be number 7, Mike Ferrara. So, really, all's well that ends well. Either way, the Beacons were going to get the second out and a runner at third base.
And that's where Wicko being effectively wild helps the Beacons out, and he gets that out.
It absolutely does, because if he had more command, that bunt might have been successful, and then who knows. So Witkowski's lack of command comes back to assist him on that one as the suicide squeeze is unsuccessful. Make it 2 unassisted, as Searles, I don't believe at least, ever made a throw. He just ran the runner back and made the tag.
It's a veteran move by the catcher right there, Anthony Searles.
So Ferrara was retired. Barry stays at third, and Leslie moves up to second. Now there's 2 outs after a strikeout swinging and the failed squeeze attempt, good for a caught stealing. Here's the 0-1. Nice breaking ball, just a bit low, though. 1 ball and 1 strike. So if somehow Witkowski can tiptoe out of this trouble where it was a 2-1 game, the bases loaded, nobody out. Be a heck of a performance as that one misses low again. 2 balls and 1 strike.
This being the bottom of the order, Whitco's really got to dig deep and just throw strikes right here.
Yeah, Bonaquisti hitting right above the Mendoza line here. Came in hitting 211. He popped out his first time up. Here's the 2-1. Another one in the dirt, ball 3. Now, the good news is there is a base open if you want to duel with Mike Powers.
There's no reason to walk this guy right here. Whitco's got the stuff to go right after him. He throws hard enough, and he's got to get this out. He doesn't want to walk him and take the risk of walking another batter in.
Searles out to meet with Steve Witkowski on the mound. And now we are all set to go. A big pitch coming up here. 3-1 to Brian Bonaquisti, with runners at second and third and 2 down. Here's the pitch. Ground ball through the hole. Fowler diving play to his right. Up and flips to Witkowski to get the out and retire the side. So the Magic Man, Steve Witkowski, tiptoes his way out of trouble with a little help from his friends. A beautiful diving play from Chris Fowler, who does it more than just in the batter's box, and that retires the side for Worcester State. They do threaten, and they do score a run. 1 run on 2 hits. However, they do leave 2 men on base. We are through 2.5 here from Monin Park. It's 2-1, UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Two down. Out and Tyler Barry out onto the mound for his 3rd inning of relief work. Excuse me, as a starter, as the Beacons will counter with the top of the lineup. So UMass Boston 1-2-3, Nick Herzog, Charlie Hughey, Dan Mantoni against Tyler Barry, who has gone through 2 innings and stranded 1 base runner, allowing 2 runs.
Now, Barry's only at 38 pitches right now, but you'd like to see the Beacons work a couple of bats here, see how quickly they can get to the Worcester State bullpen.
As mentioned, Herzog's the first batter. Nice curveball right down the heart of Broadway. No balls and 1 strike. Herzog walked his first time up, was forced out at second on a fielder's choice. Here's the 0-1. Another curveball. That one is chopped at the plate, 0-2, and I think that got a piece of Bonaquisti, and so the umpire's going to head on out to discuss things with Barry, give the backstop a moment.
Excuse me. Go ahead.
Go right ahead, Steve.
Well, Barry had a quick 1-2-3 inning last inning, and after sitting for a while, he could be a little rusty, but he comes out throwing strikes, 2 changeups right there, both for strikes. Got Herzog out in front in the second one. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes with a fastball up here to get Herzog to swing right through.
He's retired 4 straight since the 2-run double from Fowler in the first. Here's the 0-2, another curveball, left up. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the right fielder, Nick Herzog. You said it, he struggled early on. As here's the 1-2, another breaking ball way outside, so he continues to go with the hook. His first 4 pitches, I believe, of this at-bat have all been curveballs. In that first inning, surrendered a walk, fielder's choice, and struck out Mantoni, but then another walk and then the 2-run double from Fowler. Since then, strikeout, ground out, fly out, ground out, and there's a line drive base hit through the hole on the left side. So Herzog has reached base twice. He's 1 for 1 with a single and a walk, and the Beacons are in business, leading off again. Leadoff base runner for Charlie Hughey.
That was 2 very good at-bats by Herzog. First inning, he worked a 1-2 count to a full count and worked a walk, and right there he was 0-2 and was able to lay off the 2 sliders and finally get a fastball in that he could rope down the left through the left side.
Hughey is 0 for 1. However, he did reach on a fielder's choice, steal a base, and score back in the first inning as the first pitch is a fastball up and away, 1-0. Hughey came in hitting .250. Really came on in his first year at Beaconville last year. Since then, he has earned the respect of the coaching staff as much, or at least enough to get here batting second, as this one is popped up a mile high into the Boston Knight. Moving on over in making the play is the third baseman. That is Seth Leslie. And that's a foul out to third for Charlie Hughie. He's 0 for 2 now, and it's 1 down for Mantoni.
Coach Agarbo tried to put the hit and run on there with Herzog stealing. It just happened that he came with a high changeup that Hughie could not get on top of, and it ended up in and out.
I'll bring up Mantoni. Dan struck out swinging his first time up, came in hitting .294 as a pickoff move to first is not in time. It's a good idea because Nick certainly has wheels. Herzog on the campaign has yet to steal a base, but he's certainly looking at it with a huge lead there as that one is down Broadway, 0-1. Beacons are led in stolen bases by Hughie, who now has 7. Sal Frascino second with 5. Another pickoff move, not in time. That one gets away a little bit, but Herzog was diving in head first and no chance to pop up. Better to be safe than sorry when you have Mantoni, Boudris, and Fowler due up.
Beacon's form of death row.
Here's the 0-1 to Dan Mantoni.
Murders row. Jeez.
That one is chopped, a high chopper to first. Dropped out there at first base by Palatino. He is able to come on over and get Mantoni at first base, but a chance for a double play goes for none, so not a birthday gift Palatino would have liked, as he is forced to make the 3 unassisted putout.
Now, Mantoni's one of my better friends on this team, but gosh darn is he slow.
You know, you can't say he's a 5-tool talent if he doesn't have the wheels. He can do everything else on a baseball diamond, just can't run. That'll bring up Kyle Boudris, who walked and scored his first time up. Beacon's third baseman came in hitting .294, and now stepping off and taking a look back at Herzog is the right-hander Barry. Beacons do have action still in their bullpen. First pitch now, as that's popped up in play. At third base, it's Leslie. In foul territory, makes the play, and the Beacons will strand a runner yet again. So the heart of the order goes down 1-2-3 after Nick Herzog led off the frame with a line drive single to left. Nonetheless, the Beacons head to the fourth inning, still leading. It's 2-1 UMass Boston over Worcester State right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
The new chucker for Brendan Igerbrode's club is the right-hander Joe McGuire. Number 25 in your scorebooks. The sophomore stands at 6'2", 190, and a native of Peabody, Massachusetts. Joe on the campaign. This will be his 4th appearance. No decisions, 0-0 with a 2.45. In 3 2/3 innings, he's given up 7 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 2, and has yet to walk a batter. So, Brendan Igerbrode bringing in somebody who's shown excellent command so far this campaign, even if the 7 hits in 3 2/3 is less than desirable. Joe McGuire, the sophomore from Peabody, is the new pitcher. And Steve, what do you know about this 6'2" right-hander?
Started throwing a little harder this year after working out, growing up after being a freshman. But he can command all 4 of his pitches. He's got a fastball, slider, cutter kind of pitch, curveball, and a changeup. I'd say the slider cutter is probably his best pitch, but he can, if he stays low in the zone, but in the zone, he's going to be very effective, get a lot of outs very quickly in the count.
We'll see if that scouting report proves true, as Joe McGuire will face off against the bottom of the order, beginning with 8, 9, and 1. Mike Powers, Keenan Colanda, and then the top of the lineup, Jake Ryan. So getting Powers and Colanda critical to keeping this one-run lead intact as we are a third of the way through the ball game now, beginning the top half of the fourth inning. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudras. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Worcester State Lancers taking on the UMass Boston Beacons from Monin Park on the campus of UMass Boston in the harbor of Boston, Massachusetts.
Number 11, Mike Powers.
This game originally scheduled for Tuesday, pushed ahead one night due to inclement weather on its way in. And we'll see if McGuire can rain on the parade of the Lancers as Powers swings and chops this one foul, 0-1. Powers singled and was stranded at second base back in the second. In case you're just joining us, Josh Gerson started this game for Brendan Iger-Rote's Beacons. Went 2 innings, didn't give up a run. It's the 0-1. That one chopped to first base. Fowler to his left makes the play unassisted. So he ended last inning with a beautiful diving play to his right. Ranging over to his left is Fowler to make the play, 3 unassisted for the first out.
Now, Fowler isn't really known for his defense. He's more known for his bat, but he's made 2 nice plays already so far today.
It's all you ask for out of the first baseman. Make the plays that are in the general vicinity. Not everybody's a Doug Mitkevich, a tremendous defensive fielder. Most of them put at first base because of their defensive liabilities. Now, we're not saying Chris is a liability, but it's his bat that really is what puts him in the lineup at day in and day out. Colanda now ahead 1-0 as that one was down and in. Keenan struck out swinging his first time up as the 1-0 is up and away. 2 balls and no strikes. As mentioned, Gerson went the first 2, didn't give up a run. Then Wachowski came in for the third and ran into some command issues. Here's a 2-0. That one chopped foul up the third base line. 2-1 to Keenan Colanda. Wachowski walked the leadoff hitter Palatino, then gave up an infield single. A hard hit single through the hole, put the bases juiced. And then he walked in a run with Seth Leslie benefiting on the RBI before tiptoeing his way out of trouble. Here's the 2-1 popped up. That's playable, I believe. Fowler in fair ground. See if he gets called off. He does. And coming in to make the play is Nick Herzog. Good play for Nick to call off Fowler and make the easier grab from right. That's 2 quick outs for McGuire here in the 4th inning. And it will bring up the top of the order in the form of Jake Ryan. Ryan came in hitting .400, but the Beacons have cooled him off. He's 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Swinging is the leadoff hitter and center fielder for these Lancers. Hitting from the left side, from the windup, McGuire's first pitch in the dirt and outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Beacons will have 5, 6, and 7, beginning with Fowler in the bottom half of the inning, as that's a chance for a drag bunt, and it trickles foul in front of Boudris. 1-1 to the leadoff hitter, Jake Ryan. Interesting strategy there for a leadoff hitter hitting .400 coming in to try to bunt your way on with 2 outs.
We never know how he got to .400, John. He could have been doing that all year long.
Could have been. That would be poor scouting from everybody else, but incredible wheels for Jake Ryan. Here's the 1-1. Off speed, up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ryan does have 3 extra base hits on the campaign, but 2 of them are triples. Using those great wheels that helped him get 3 stolen bases in 3 attempts. So 2-1 is laced foul up the third base line and out of play. And so now evened up 2-2 with a chance for McGuire to get through this one 1-2-3 in the 4th. It's exactly what the doctor would have ordered after Wachowski was only able to go 1. Here's the 2-2. Ground ball, foul up the third base line yet again.
Joe's been sitting on that outside corner to Ryan right here. I'd like to see him come in with a fastball or go real down with a curveball or changeup in the dirt.
Been attacking Ryan, as you said, with all hard stuff. We'll see if he decides to pull the string. He's got a pitch to give here with the count 2-2. Beacons playing back with 2 outs and nobody on. Ryan is in. McGuire gets his sign. The windup, the 2-2 on the inside corner. Called strike 3. He struck him out. So Ryan goes down for the 2nd time on strikes, and the Beacons are cruising here in the fourth inning. We move through the bottom of the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. It's 2-1 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Bottom half of this inning, Fowler, McCormick, Searles.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
Tyler Berry remains out here for his fourth inning of work as the starter for Dirk Baker's Lancers, with the Beacons leading 2-1. He will face 5, 6, and 7, beginning with Chris Fowler, then Ryan McCormick and Anthony Searles. Anyone reaches, it will be Sal Frascino batting fourth. So Fowler leads things off. He blazed a 2-run double back in the first inning to stay scorching hot. In the doubleheader split yesterday against UMass Dartmouth, he hit 2 home runs, one in the opener, one in the nightcap, and then began this evening's affair with a 2-run double. Takes that fastball low, 1 ball and no strikes to Chris Fowler. He's also made a couple of great defensive plays. 1-0 off speed, and that's a nice one. 1 ball and 1 strike. From the windup, the 1-1 pitch, and that one's inside, almost got Fowler on the hands, pulled those mitts back just in time, and it's 2-1. Fowler standing tall at 6'1", 195 from the left-handed side, way up and in, and a 3-1 count now to the leadoff hitter Fowler, and this is exactly what you're looking for if you're UMass Boston. The 3-1. Raced for a base hit to right field, so Chris Fowler was sitting fastball and sitting dead red on that one as he rips it to right field. It's his second hit of the day in 2 appearances, and he's a leadoff base runner for UMass Boston. So that'll bring up Ryan McCormick, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. McCormick came in hitting over .350 on the year, his freshman year in Beacons Blue. Fowler not a threat to steal, as the first pitch is a fastball in the outside corner, 0-1. Beacons leading it 2-1 here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Got 2 runs in the first on the Fowler double. Gave up a run in the third on a bases-loaded walk to Leslie. Here's the 0-1, and pulling that one back, I believe, was McCormick, and he gets plunked on the foot with the wild pitch. Now, Fowler's going to head to third, but they're going to send him back to second since the runner was hit. Now, we'll see. The umpires are discussing things, whether or not McCormick actually pulled this bat back or whether or not he swung through. They're going to say he did pull it back, and so a break for the Beacons, as that is a hit by pitch, the first of the day for Barry. And that puts 2 runners on with nobody out here in the fourth.
I'd like to see if Coach Agerbro puts on the bunt here with runners on first and second with no outs, get 2 guys in scoring position instead of 1, only up 1 run, especially with Searles, who's been struggling a little bit.
I was about to say this would be the good time to do it. We'll see if they do. Searles has great pop when he's on, though. Instead, he's squared around to bunt, pulls it back, but it's on the outside corner, 0-1. Anthony is 0 for 1. He grounded out to shortstop. Came in hitting a paltry 173.
Now, Worcester State wasn't even expecting the bunt that first pitch. He might have been able to get a base hit if he was able to put it down the third base line.
From the stretch is Barry. The 0-1. And Searles gets it down. This is a beautiful sacrifice. The only play is at first, and he throws it off the bag as he pulls the second baseman off the bag. That's Palatino, and it puts the bases full of Beacons with nobody out in an E1. So how about that? You get the bunt down in a good spot, and you force the mistake from Tyler Berry. And that loads the bases full of Beacons for Sal Frascino.
And he pulled a John Lester there, you know. For some reason, pitchers just struggle throwing the bases. You know, I was one of them. I've thrown my fair amount of balls over the first baseman's head and just end up down the right field line. And he was lucky enough that the second baseman was able to get a glove on it there.
So Frashino steps up. He's 0 for 1. He flew out to deep center field his first time up. Then he skies this one out of play behind home plate. Single hit by pitch error. And the error was on Barry. So this is really, for the most part, self-inflicted wounds, especially when considering he fell behind Fowler 3-1 to lead off the inning. The 0-1 pitch, beautiful curveball on the outside corner, 0-2. There is action, right-handed action for the Lancers down in the right field bullpen. Well, the Beacons, though, can put a big dent in this game here with a base hit. Here's the 0-2, and swinging and missing awkwardly is Sal Frashino as he pulled the string on him, and that is a bad strikeout on a changeup. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out.
Yeah, Sal's getting a little swing happy since he's gotten in a funk. Now, he came out hitting 400 coming out of Florida, and it's just been a little bit harder for him up north.
Well, this is why you put a 300 hitter ninth for situations such as this. Josh Lopez with the bases loaded and 1 out. He's also got great wheels just in case they think about 2. Josh grounded out to first, 3-1 his first time up, and he takes that one right down Broadway, 0-1.
Now, Barry's starting to fill it up a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if Igerbro thinks about putting on a squeeze here.
Be tough to do with the bases loaded, especially with Fowler's lack of wheels, at least lack of exceptional wheels at third. See what they decide to do. From the stretch, the 0-1 pitch, curveball lifted into right center field. It's going to be a tough play. Ryan coming in. He will not get there. It's an RBI base hit for Josh Lopez. He may have pulled something rounding first base as he puts his head down. Nonetheless, UMass Boston has extended their lead to 3-1 as the Beacons get an RBI base hit for Lopez, his 6th of the year. So the Beacons now have the bases loaded yet again, as coming in to score is Fowler. Meeting of the Apostles on the mound, as we'll see what they decide to do with Barry here. They have had right-handed action in the pen for the last couple of batters. And with the top of the order coming up, Nick Herzog, it's crunch time for Barry and company on the Lancers dugout. Great piece of hitting from Josh. Didn't try to do too much, just looped that one into shallow center field into no man's land and got the RBI.
That's how he won the Rookie of the Year his freshman year. He just took his singles, you know, didn't try and do too much and just dropped them in, and, you know, he won the Rookie of the Year because of it.
So Herzog steps in. First pitch is a curveball away. 1 ball and no strikes. Herzog today, 1 for 1. He walked in the first, was stranded on a fielder's choice, and then singled and was stranded at second in the third. That one lifted to right field. It's going to be trouble. Coming on in and making the play at second base is Kolanda. The runner smartly got back in time. That one looked deeper than it actually was. Jammed him, though. And it's a pop out to second base for the second out. Brings up Charlie Hughie. Hughie on the day is 0 for 2. Grounded into a fielder's choice and scored in the first. Popped out to third base in foul territory in the third. Talked about Josh Lopez. His freshman year was outstanding at the dish. Last year went into that sophomore slump we see so often at this level. Seems like he is back to finding his stroke here in his junior campaign.
Now, Josh was able to keep his starting spot last year because he's so good defensively at second base and even in the outfield.
So Charlie Hughie will try to excel at the dish. Right-handed hitter takes it in the dirt. Good block there for the backstop on Quisty. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to Charlie Hughie. Huge at bat here for both the Beacons and the Lancers. If Barry can get out of it, he can keep this game close, but a single here could blow it wide open. Here's the 1-0, and Charlie takes a mighty hack at that one, but comes up empty. It's 1-1. Hughie came in hitting .250. Beacon's shortstop 0 for 2 today, but he has scored and stolen a base. Leads the team now with 6. Here's the 1-1 pitch. That one is just a bit low. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Barry gets his sign from Bonaquisti. The 2-1 pitch. Charlie laces this one foul out of play up the first base line, and so Deuces will be wild 2-2 with 2 outs.
Now, if Charlie didn't swing at 2 balls this at bat, he'd be standing on first base and a run would have scored so far.
Some tough love from Steve Consiglio this evening as our color commentator here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network and former teammate of these Beacons has taken a mighty hack and missing there to retire the side is Charlie Hughie. So 3 balls, 3 swings, 3 outs as UMass Boston is retired here in the 4th inning. But they do get a run. They're able to get that run on the benefit of 2 hits. There was 1 error in the inning. We head to the 5th from Monin Park in Boston, Massachusetts. It's 3-1 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
For the Lancers, Palatino, Barry.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there's a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters.
We're sisters.
I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, so it's so much better to have like an advisor helping you out, like telling you which classes to choose.
Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network production of UMass Boston Beacons Baseball as the Beacons lead the Worcester State Lancers 3-1 through 4 innings. Working his 2nd inning of relief work, right-hander from Peabody, Massachusetts, number 25, Joe McGuire. And McGuire in his 1st inning went 1-2-3 against 8-9-1, including a strikeout of Jake Ryan. He will face 2, 3, and 4, beginning with Ben Palatino here in the 5th inning. And Steve, you had to like what you saw from McGuire in the 4th, especially on the heels of Witkowski's outing, where he struggled with the command. McGuire came right in and attacked the hitters.
Yeah, he just kept throwing strikes, and if he keeps it down in the zone, he's going to get a lot of kids out, and he's going to get more chances to pitch this season.
So Palatino's gotten plenty of chances this year. Comes in hitting .395. He's 0 for 1 today. Walked and scored in the 3rd. He popped out to 1st in the 1st, and he tries to squeeze his way on here, but he's going to miss on the bunt attempt, and that's going to put a strike in the old scoreboard in left field. Palatino, Barry, and Ferrara. Anyone reaches Seth Leslie, the 3rd baseman, will step in. Here's the 0-1 for McGuire, and that one's way inside. It plunks him right on the tuchus. So Palatino will reach base on a hit by pitch, the 2nd HBP of the evening for these Lancers. And an inauspicious beginning to the 5th inning for McGuire and company. It's a leadoff base runner for Adam Barry.
Yeah, he's going to pay for that one, though. Be nice and black and blue tomorrow morning.
Yeah, he'll feel that one when he wakes up. It'll feel better if his team is able to pull it out. Right now they're trailing 3-1 here in the 5th inning, despite out-hitting the Beacons 5-4. Beacons playing off the line at 3rd base as Barry slaps this one. Great play by Boudris as he was positioned perfectly. 5-4-3, the double play. And just like that, 2 for the price of 1 on a great turn by Josh Lopez.
Kid's a wizard with a glove, John. Josh Lopez can play 2nd base.
Mentioned he might have pulled something on the single. Looks like he's A-OK as number 14 in white gets the turn. And I said it right before the pitch. They were pulling him off of the line, that is Boudris, in anticipation of that ball being hit in the hole between short and 3rd. And what great coaching from Brendan Eigebrot and the Beacons. So now 2 down here, and Joe McGuire cruising through his 2nd inning. Mike Ferrara's the batter. He's 2 for 2. He's singled twice, but been stranded both times. Here's the 1-0. Right down Broadway, 1 ball and 1 strike. So a leadoff hit by pitch to Palatino, stranded on the double play ball. Nicely turned one at that, and going around on that one was the left fielder Ferrara. And now 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the 5th inning. From the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Curveball slapped towards shortstop. Hugie gobbles it up and fires across the diamond. 6-3 the putout. And boy, oh boy, if you blink, you miss the top half of the 5th inning. They do put a runner on base, but he is left off on a 5-4-3 double play. No runs, no hits, no errors, and no men left on base. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. It's 3-1, UMass Boston. Tyler Berry working into his 5th inning as the starter for Dirk Baker's Lancers of Worcester State. He will face off against the heart of the order, which it's been hot and cold today. Dan Mantoni, Kyle Boudris, and Chris Fowler. Mantoni's 0 for 2, Boudris is 0 for 1, but Fowler's 2 for 2 with a run scored and 2 driven in. So we'll see if Mantoni and Boudris can get on base for him as we reconvene here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudras. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Beacons will be back at it on Wednesday against Suffolk right here on the BBN. Look to create another winning streak. The Beacons had won 5 in a row prior to losing the second half of the doubleheader yesterday against the Dartmouth Corsairs. So Mantoni is in against Barry, and the first pitch curveball's not anywhere close. It's 1-0. Continuing to go first pitch breaking ball against Dan as he comes back in with a fastball inside 2-0.
Yeah, look for Dan to see a fastball right here. See if he can put it over that big green monster in left field.
From the windup, the 2-0 pitch, ground ball shortstop. Gobbled up and kicked out there at short. And Tony, not great with the wheels, but he's able to beat that one out. And that should be an error on Mike Powers, who had a Sunday hop and just booted it. It's the second error of the day for the Lancers. And it's a leadoff base runner for the third consecutive inning, in fact, for UMass Boston.
Hey, you don't mind it being a Beacons guy, but we try and keep it even on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Sometimes. Depends on the situation. But still, at the same time, Powers going to be kicking himself later as the first pitch is on the outside corner. 0-1 to Kyle Boudris. Kyle is 0 for 1. He walked and scored back in the first. He also flew out in the third. Came in hitting .294. Mantoni at first base. From the stretch is Barry, the 0-1, and that one's not anywhere close. Good play by Bonaquisti on that one. UMass Boston leading 3-1. And the reason why is because of the man who's on deck, Chris Fowler. 2 for 2. He scored a run and driven in 2. He's been the key contributor in all 3. Here's the 1-1. That one's ripped through the hole on the left side as insiding outing. That one is the third baseman, Kyle Boudris. And the Beacons are in business with 2 runners on base with nobody out for their hottest hitter, Chris Fowler. Great piece of hitting there for Boudris. Inside out, outing a fastball in the inside corner. Right through the hole between short and third.
Now, most players be bunting right here, but with as hot as Fowler is, I just don't see it.
The first baseman, number 40, Chris Fowler.
Fowler, as mentioned, 2 for 2. 2-run double back in the first. Singleton scored to lead off the fourth. There's the first pitch to Chris. Curveball up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. And a chance now for the Beacons to blow this wide open. UMass does, I believe, have someone getting at least loose in the bullpen. Here's the 1-0. just on the outside corner with a fastball. It's 1-1. Ryan McCormick waits on deck. He's 0 for 1. Beacons leading it 3-1. They have 5 hits, as do the Lancers, but 2 errors by Worcester right now really coming back to bite them as that one is skied into deep left center field. Ryan on the run to his right, as is the left fielder, and Ryan will make the play as he stumbles into that green monster in left. Mantoni will tag up and advance to third.
Now the wind was trying to do everything it could to get that ball over that monster, but it just didn't have enough on it.
It is a fly out to left center field. Advancing to third base is Mantoni, and so that does put a runner 90 feet away with less than 2 outs and a chance for McCormick to pick up an RBI here.
Left fielder number 16, Ryan McCormick.
From the stretch. First pitch to McCormick, and the Beacons left fielder takes a strike on the outside corner.
Now McCormick is a freshman, but you like to see him put the ball in the air of the outfield just so he can score Mantoni from third base.
They're surrendering the run up the middle and playing for a double play. McCormick from the left side, though, could be tough to double up with those long strides. It's 1-1 as that one missed away. Barry from the stretch. Right-hander looks to third, and he'll step off. Here's the 1-1. That one's lined to left field. It's going to be a tough play to get the runner home. Tagging and attempting to score is Boudris, and the throw is up the line from the left fielder Ferreira. So it's a sacrifice fly for Ryan McCormick. It's his 5th run batted in of the year, and it puts the Beacons up by 3 yet again. It's 4-1 UMass Boston.
Now Mantoni was able to get back to third base because he took off at first. Right when the ball came off the bat, but he got back, was able to tag up and score on that line drive to left field.
Right, you are. It was Mantoni who came on in. Dan led off the inning with a E6 as that breaking ball is on the outside corner. At least the home plate umpire says so. It's 0-1 to Anthony Searles. That one is just a bit low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Searles 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to short and reached on an error. Barry with his team down 4-1, trying to minimize the damage here is the 1-1 pitch. Searles skies it a mile up in the air as that's a moonshot. It's playable as the first baseman Palatino tipsies to his right and makes the play to retire this side. But UMass Boston does score a run. They do so with the benefit of a hit and the benefit of 1 Lancers error. We are through 5 innings of play. The Beacons lead at 4-1 right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
The 6th inning just about set to get underway here from Monin Park on the campus of UMass Boston, along with Steve Consiglio. I am John Skudris. Beacons leading 4-1 over their rivals from Worcester State. The Lancers will send 5, 6, and 7 to the dish, beginning with Seth Leslie, and they will face off against a right-hander. Joe McGuire has been absolutely outstanding tonight. He's gone through 2 innings unscathed. 6 up. 6 down. He did have a hit by pitch to lead off the 5th, but was able to quickly retire at 5-4-3 on the twin killing, so he's faced the minimum. Leadoff hitter against him will be Ryan Leslie. Leslie's 0 for 1. Grounded into a fielder's choice to end the first. Also reached on a walk back in the third.
Leading off for the Lancers, third baseman number 46, Seth Leslie.
Beacons do, I believe, have at least somebody warming out in the bullpen. As the first pitch from McGuire to Leslie's on the outside corner. No balls and 1 strike.
I think it's Ben Gottesman, number 38, freshman.
From the wind-up, the 0-1 from McGuire, and there's another beautiful breaking ball, 0-2. Ben Gottesman, a freshman from Acton, Massachusetts. See if he's the one that ends up coming in after McGuire, but with the way Joe's pitching, no rush. Here's the 0-2. Just a bit high, 1 ball and 2 strikes. UMass Boston leading this one 4-1. They got out to the early 2-0 lead and have held on to it so far. Got a little insurance the last 2 frames as that missed inside to Leslie. 2 balls and 2 strikes. After Seth, it'll be Kevin Larkin and Brian Bonaquisti due up. 2-2 curveball, ground ball shortstop. Hughie's going to have to range in. A strong throw from Charlie is on a dime and on time as Charlie Hughie with a 6-3 put out to get Seth Leslie. And there is 1 down here in the top half of the 6th inning.
Nice play by Hughie there. Charging it, even though he's not, the natural shortstop for the Beacons. He can make the plays, and he's a defensive wizard almost.
So as that is 1 out here in the 6th, it'll bring up Kevin Larkin, who laces this one foul up the third base line. Kevin's 0 for 1. Was hit by a pitch to start the 2nd, stranded at 3rd. He also struck out swinging. Back in the 3rd inning, if you're just joining us, the Lancers had their biggest threat, trailing 2-0 against the Beacons' first reliever. They brought in Steve Witkowski. Here's the 0-1. Just a bit high with a breaking ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. Witkowski walked the leadoff hitter Palatino, then gave up an infield single and a hard hit single to left to load the bases. He would walk in a run with nobody out, giving an RBI to Seth Leslie as this one's lifted into right field in foul territory. Fowler needs rockets in his cleats to get that one, and he just was unable to keep his sight on it to make the play. However, it is a strike, and it's 1-2. Back in that 3rd after the walk, though, Witkowski was able to tiptoe out of any further damage and keep the Beacons on top, though thanks in large part to a poor base running decision by the Lancers coaching staff to call a suicide squeeze with the bases loaded and nobody out. And a wild pitcher in Witkowski who missed the bat and then ended up getting the runner at 3rd. Witkowski bounced back, got a strikeout and a ground out, and the Beacons haven't looked back. This one is lifted foul out of play by Larkin. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. Larkin, one of 3 Lancers with home runs today, or rather this season. 3 Lancers in the lineup as he goes through on that beautiful off-speed pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. Searles applies the tag, and that's 2 down here in the top half of the 6th.
Catcher number 24, Brian Bonaquisti.
So Joe McGuire continuing to dazzle. He has faced 8 batters. Gotten 8 outs. This one grounded to 3rd. Past the glove of Boudreaux. Hughie with a strong throw and making the play on the 1 hop is Fowler for a 6-3 putout. Charlie Hughie looking like Derek Jeter here in the top half of the 6th inning as he makes a couple of dazzling plays with the glove and with the arm. We are through 5.5 here from Monin Park in Boston, Massachusetts. It's UMass Boston 4, Worcester State 1 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
What separates UMass Boston from other schools is the fact that a large percentage of students commute. For me, it takes 2 hours each day to go to and from school, but every second has been worth it because the students that come here are serious about learning, they value their education, and understand where it'll take them in the future. This is what UMass Boston means to me.
Horse coming out.
So we do have a couple of changes to make here for the visiting Lancers of Worcester State. First, the new pitcher. It's going to be number 18, Luke Brennan, the sophomore from Worcester, and right-handed pitcher. And there'll be a new backstop, I believe, as well, as Dan McQuill will step on in. The senior from East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, will be the new catcher. And so a completely new battery here for Dirk Baker, as Brennan will be pitching to McQuill. Get your Brennan's numbers in just a tick.
Defensive change for Worcester State University. Now doing the catch at number 12, Dan McQuill. And on the mound for the Lancers, number 18, Luke Brennan.
So Luke Brennan is the new pitcher, number 18 in blue. And the right-hander will face off against 8-9-1 for Shino, Lopez, and Herzog. As you see Brennan's record there, 1-2 with a 9.35 on the campaign. This is his 6th appearance, his 3rd out of the bullpen. He's 2nd on the team in innings pitched, 17 1/3, 18 hits, 21 runs, 18 of them earned. And command has been a bit of a concern. He's got 23 strikeouts, which is impressive in 17 innings, but he's also walked 16 in that same amount of time. First first batter to face him is Sal Frascino. The center fielder takes one on the outside corner. For a strike, it's 0-1. Sal's 0 for 2. He flew out to center and struck out swinging as he takes that one away, 1-1. Brennan is listed at 6'2", 195, though, unless he just underwent a reverse growth spurt, I don't think so. Native of Worcester is behind in the count, 2-1.
We all give ourselves a few extra inches on those, John.
You said 6'6", you showed it in the scorebook for you. What are you actually, now that you're not out there?
It's 6'4" if I stand up straight.
6'4" and 25 inches? That's what I would say. Sal Frascino may not have the height that Steve Consiglio has, but he's ahead in the count, 3-1, and now he's on base as he works a 5-pitch walk to begin the 6th. And he's a leadoff base runner for Josh Lopez, just what the doctor ordered against the new pitcher. And I talked about the command struggles. That's now 17 walks and 17 1/3 innings pitched.
The second baseman, number 14, Josh Lopez.
Lopez is announced by the PA announcer this evening, Dave Wahlberg, as UMass Boston's 9-hole hitter steps up, looking to bunt the runner along, pulls it back. That is a strike. Lopez had a critical hit last time out, an RBI base knock to right center field.
I think that was a bunt just to coax the third baseman in a little bit and make the holes a little bit bigger for Josh to stick one through.
There is a huge hole on the right side and on the left side as well, as the third baseman Leslie is pinched in on the lip of the grass. Here's the 0-1. There goes Frascino, and it was a hit and run as Lopez takes a mighty cut at that one and rips it against the screen. It's 0-2. Like the idea at the bottom of the order. Try to get something going for the top half of the lineup. Fortunately, Josh unable to get the hands extended on that one. So now it's 0-2 as Brennan takes a peek over at first. The 0-2 curveball, good block there by the new backstop. That is Dan McQuill. McQuill, a senior out of East Longmeadow, Massachusetts, replacing the starter behind the plate, this all-fellow senior, Brian Bonaquisti. Here's the 1-2. There goes Sal again. That one's low. The throw down is not in time, and so Sal Frascino with a big stolen base with nobody out here in the 6th inning, and he gives the Beacons a runner in scoring position, and still 2-2 here to Lopez. For Sal, that is now his 6th stolen base in 7 attempts. He remains 2nd on the team after Charlie Hughey got his 7th in the 1st inning.
He's a quick one.
Here's the 2-2 to Lopez. That one is on the inside corner. Called strike 3. Struck him out.
Josh thought that one was real low.
So Lopez loses the battle against Brennan. It's the first out. did look low from here, but obviously we're at a tough angle right behind home plate. So with one down, the runner remains at second base for Herzog, and right there, you're just looking for a ground ball to third base to try to get Sal over to third.
Number 34, Nick Herzog.
But Lopez is frozen. That'll bring up Nick Herzog. He's had a nice day, 1 for 2. Singled and walked. And that one way inside, it plunked him. So Herzog's going to reach base every which way you can. He's been hit by a pitch, he's walked, he's singled. And he's a one-out base runner along with Sal Frascino now for Charlie Hughey. Charlie is 0 for 3 today. He grounded into a fielder's choice and scored back in the first. He fouled out back in the third and struck out swinging in the fourth.
The shortstop, number 29, Charlie Hughey.
Brennan gets his sign. The runner at second, Frascino. The runner at first, Herzog. They have great wheels. Brennan, after a long pause, sees the runners go. A delayed steal from first and gunned down at third is Sal Frascino. So Sal is caught stealing for just the second time this year. Advancing to second on the double steal is Herzog. But now 2 outs, and it'll take a base hit here from Hughey to get the Beacons on the board.
Coach Agerbrodt loves that double steal.
It can pay off, but they just brought in the better-armed backstop, Dan McWill, and it showed right there. Here's the 0-1. Blocked by McWill. It's 1-1. Just the second caught stealing for Sal on the year. 6 of 8. Herzog gets his first of the year. Here's the 1-1. Nice breaking ball, but just a bit low. 2 balls and 1 strike to Charlie Hughey, who's made a couple of dazzling defensive plays here about halfway through this game. Here's the 2-1 from Brennan. That one's right down Broadway. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dan Mantoni on deck should Charlie reach base. Brennan from the stretch. The 2-2 pitch. Outside ball 3, and so a full count coming up to Charlie Hughey. You do have a base open at first, though anybody who's going to walk Charlie Hughey to face Dan Mantoni needs to get their head examined. Here's the payoff pitch. Way outside, ball 4. So Brennan now 18 walks in 18 innings this season. And that is a 2-out base runner for Dan Mantoni. So this inning began with a leadoff walk to Sal Frascino. And after a strikeout by Josh Lopez and a hit by pitch to Herzog, a double steal saw Frascino get gunned down at third.
Hitter number 7, Dan Mantoni.
3-2 pitch missed outside moments ago to Hughey, and so that walked him and put runners at first and second for Mantoni. They got good wheels on the base paths. The first pitch to Dan is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. And now this is exactly what you didn't want if you're the Lancers. Runners on base and nowhere to put Mantoni. And a player who has struggled with command in Brennan on the mound. Here's the 1-0. Curveball, and that would have been a nice one to take a hack at, but Mantoni watches it for strike 1.
Yeah, Mantoni was definitely looking for a fastball there with a 1-0 count. Just unfortunate he got a slider.
Here's the 1-1. Another breaking ball, missed inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to Mantoni. Kyle Boudris waits on deck should Dan reach. Mantoni on the day is 0 for 3 with a run scored. And, they got him picked off, and the throw gets away and goes into center field. Moving on to third base will be Herzog. Advancing to second is Hughey, and the self-inflicted wounds continue to stun the Worcester State Lancers. That is another error on a pitcher. It's E1, and it'll put runners at second and third for Dan Mantoni. So that is a huge error. And the 2-1 pitch coming to Dan. Swung on and missed as he was looking to park this one. Unfortunately, came up empty. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Dan can break this game open right here.
Base open at first base. The runner at second, Charlie Hughie. The runner at third is Nick Herzog. From the windup, Brennan's 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He struck him out. So Dan Mantoni strikes out for the second time today. A rare 0 for 4 day for the Beacons designated hitter. The Beacons threaten with the benefit of no hits. They had 2 walks, a hit by pitch, and an error, but they bring no one home in the 6th inning. We head to the 7th, almost stretch time here from Monin Park. It's still 4-1 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
UMass Boston is my first choice because of the incredible theater department.
Because it has an excellent honors college.
Because here I get to interact with professors one-on-one.
Because I'm not going to be crazy in debt when I graduate.
Because at UMass Boston, I've met professors who have changed my life.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
My first choice.
Make the University of Massachusetts Boston your first choice. Visit umb.edu/first choice.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning.
Leading off for the Lancers, shortstop number 11, Mike Powers.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudris. Joe McGuire has been absolutely brilliant through 3 innings, and why not keep him out there as he comes back with an off-speed pitch for a strike, 0-1. It'll be Mike Powers, Keenan Colada, and Jake Ryan due up for these Lancers, trailing 4-1. McGuire gets him to swing on top of that one, turn over the hands, and ground it foul up the third base line. So 0-2 now to Mike Powers, who came in 1 for 2.
32.
McGuire sitting at 32 pitches here, so we'll see how long they decide to stick with him as that one misses outside. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I do believe Joe's been stretched out more like a starter, so he could easily throw 65, 70 pitches in this game.
Well, if that's the case, he might go the rest of the way with how he's been chucking it. That's a nice one there as it's grounded to second base for Lopez. Josh with a quick howitzer over to first. In time, 4-3 on the putout to retire Powers. And that is the first out of the 7th inning. Brings up Keenan Colanda. Keenan is 0 for 2, struck out and flew out.
Number 1, Keenan Colanda.
What a performance here from McGuire, and for a player who has been hit and miss so far this season, definitely earning the respect and the confidence of the coaching staff with a performance like this. Here's the first pitch to Colanda. Beautiful breaking ball on the outside corner, 0-1. From the windup, 0-1 pitch is a bit high. With a changeup, it is 1-1. Worcester State has the 1 run, benefiting from 5 hits. They have committed 3 catastrophic errors in this game. Meanwhile, UMass, 4 runs, 5 hits, and their defense has been fundamentally as sound as it can be, and that's a fundamentally sound pitch right there on the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Beacons looking to win today to make it 6 of 7. The 1-2 is ripped into left field, and just as I say it, there's a base hit for Keenan Colanda. He came in hitting almost 350, and he has an extra base hit, his 4th of the year. And he is a 1-out base runner with a 1-out double.
You jinxed it, John.
You know what? Matt Meisenbacher always gets on me for jinxing goalies who have shutouts in our hockey broadcasts. I'm sure you've seen that as you do the camera work sometimes for us there. And I shall learn my lesson. I never do. But at the same time, I'm not superstitious like you athletes are. You know, some of you guys never change your socks, and that's a terrifying thing enough for all of us who
That's a
haven't done
hockey
it.
thing. That's not a baseball thing, John.
Did you have any superstitions, Steve? As we do have a pitching change here, as that will be the end of Joe McGuire. We'll get you the new pitcher in a second, but we might as well dive deep into the sick, twisted mind of Steve Consiglio here, former reliever here for the UMass Boston Beacons.
You don't step on the line. I don't care who you are. You don't step on the foul line. That's my biggest pet peeve. You know, I saw at the beginning of the game, a few of the Beacons players were standing on the line, including the operations guy, Ryan. And, yeah, he may be new here, but at the same time, you don't step on that line.
That's something you see often. You always see pitchers hopping over the line at all levels, including the majors. Our new pitcher here is the man we mentioned, I believe, last inning, Ben Gottesman, the freshman from Acton, Massachusetts, standing at 5'9", 140.
That's a little more realistic.
It certainly is. Ben on the campaign. This is just his third appearance. He is 0-0 with a 0.00. So that is an easy one to remember. In 2 1/3 innings, he's given up 2 hits and struck out 2. So Ben's somebody who has put himself into a little trouble and isn't able to tiptoe his way out of it so far. So the freshman from Acton will be the new pitcher, the right-hander for Brendan Egerbrodt. And McGuire came in. He did a great job in relief as a third pitcher in this game. If you're just joining us, Josh Gerson started with the first 2 innings. Didn't give up a run, scattered 3 hits over that time frame. Steve Witkowski was able to tiptoe his way out of some control and command issues. He did give up the only run of the game back in the 3rd. Since then, though, it's been the Joe McGuire show. He went 1-2-3 in the 4th, and after hitting a batter to lead off the 5th, he got a double play off the bat of Adam Berry, followed by a ground out from Mike Ferrara. Then went 1-2-3 in the 6th and got the leadoff hitter Powers here in the 7th before Keenan Kolanda chased McGuire with the 1-out double. So Ben Gottesman is the new pitcher. And the right-hander, as you see on your screen, number 38, no record in just his 3rd appearance of his career. And he will have the unwelcome sight of the leadoff hitter to greet him, Jake Ryan. Ryan, however, has struggled today. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts.
The center fielder, number 9, Jake Ryan.
So Gottesman from the stretch. Looking down the barrel of the mitt of Anthony Searles. First pitch to Ryan. Outside, 1-0. After Jake, it'll be Ben Palatino and Adam Berry. 1 down, man at second base. Beacons leading by 3. It's 4-1. Ground ball through the hole on the left side as Hugie was heading back towards second. They will hold Kolanda at third as tumbling down like a tree in the forest was Kyle Boudris to make the cutoff, but that is a big single, and it puts runners at the corners with only 1 out.
Now, Hugie was covering second there, so Searles could try and pick off Kolanda at second base, but it was unfortunate that it almost worked like a hit and run. Ryan just kind of put that ball in the hole, and he turned out with a single.
First baseman, number 6, Ben Palatino.
And that's the first hit of the day for Jake Ryan, who came in hitting .400. And that'll bring up Ben Palatino, who is 0 for 2. He walked, 0 for 1. He walked and was hit by a pitch in his last 2 at-bats. He is the tying run now, as Gottesman misses on a breaking ball. 1-0. So just like that, despite the fact the Beacons have really controlled the pace of play here through the first 6 innings, the Lancers are one massive swing away from tying it. Quick pick off to first is not in time. In case you were wondering about the speed on the base paths, man at first, Jake Ryan, has 3 stolen bases. He's yet to be caught. And that's exactly what Gottesman's thinking. Meanwhile, Keenan Kolanda has 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts. So both are pretty good at the base paths, and a fly ball here to medium, deep, or deeper could get the run home from third. Here's the 1-0. That one's ripped up the middle, and that'll get the job done as well. It's an RBI single for Ben Palatino. And it is a 4-2 game, as Palatino now has 12 RBI on the year.
And it seems like the Beacons bullpen is starting to stir again. 2 guys are throwing off the mound, a little double barrel action.
Looks like a lefty and a righty out there for Brendan Igabrot as he heads right back out to discuss things with Gottesman. And just like that, Ben's day is done. So the freshman from Acton comes in and surrenders back-to-back singles to Ryan and Palatino, and his evening is done. The runners are both his responsibility and would apply to his ERA if they do come home to roost here in the 7th inning. But right now, the Beacons do lead it 4-2. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll get you the rundown on the new chucker for UMass Boston.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
The line at third base as Barry slaps this one. Great play by Boudres as he was positioned perfectly. 5-4-3, the double play, and just like
the 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
crunch time begins here in the top of the 7th inning with the Beacons leading 4-2. Brendan Igabrot turns to his closer in the 7th. The team leader in saves, Bobby Tremendozi, is the new pitcher. He comes in, this his 8th appearance, 1-1 with a 2.61 to go along with those 2 saves. And 10 1/3 innings, Bobby's allowed 13 hits, 3 earned runs. But the most impressive thing, and I think what Coach Igabrot's thinking, 15 strikeouts, just 1 walk. And Steve, Bobby, ever since he came to town last year, has been really a godsend for this bullpen, and the Peabody native has a fire to extinguish this evening.
He just got that dog attitude, you know. He comes out angry. Got that nasty slider and that fastball around 85 miles an hour. Really put guys away.
Now on the mound, number 12, Bobby Tremendozi.
Bobby will face the heart of the order, 3-4-5, beginning with Adam Barry. Adam is 1 for 2. He reached on an infield single and also grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Runner at second is Jake Ryan. The runner at first, Ben Palatino. It's the first pitch from Tremendozi. Beautiful breaking ball for a strike, and they pick off the runner at first, and they're going to say safe, and I am not sure how, and Brendan Igabrot is going to argue, and rightfully so. He was dead to rights by a solid 6 inches. I think even Ben Palatino knows this was a birthday pickoff, but he gets a gift on his birthday from the second base umpire. My goodness gracious, Steve.
I got no words. I thought he was out by 20 feet. It's a great throw by Searles, a good tag by Fowler, put it right in front of the base, and the guy slid right into it.
I think they're going to have a meeting here. If the home plate umpire didn't see it, I don't know who did. I mean, it was clear as day that he was picked off.
That's why you're thankful there's three umpires in LEC play.
We're going to show a replay of it here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, and you'll see, even from our angle, way atop the press box, as here it is. This is Jake Ryan, the runner at first, Ben Palatino. It's the first pitch from Tremendozi, just coming up behind. And look at that. I mean, it's not even close.
It's a great tag by Fowler. Just put it right in
off the
front
runner
of the base.
First, and they're going to say safe, and I am not sure the second how, and Brendan Igabrot is going to argue, and rightfully so. So he was dead to rights by a solid better angle from the base line. Overrules the second base umpire. You only have 2 at this level, and that is the right call.
Now, I'm surprised the Worcester State coach isn't coming out to get an explanation at least.
Usually, anytime there's a change after an argument, you're going to see fireworks, but that was pretty clear as day. So now 2 outs, and an 0-2 count now. Is fouling this one off the screen is Adam Berry. So you saw the Lancers run themselves out of an inning earlier on against Witkowski, and yet again, that is a terrible pickoff.
That's just being lazy on the bases. You know, they don't know the weapon behind the plate in Anthony Searles. He's probably one of the best defensive catchers in the Northeast.
So Tranandozzi trying to slam the door. The 0-2 curveball's way outside, 1-2. Anthony Searles may not be having the offensive year he'd like to have in this his senior year, but still an exquisite defensive talent behind the dish, and he showed why. 8 hits now for the Lancers and just 2 runs. Tranandozzi is ready. The 1-2 pitch, curveball ripped. Deep right center field. That one is deep. That one is one hopping off the fence. Coming around to score is Ryan. Heading on into third and safely reaching standing is Adam Berry. And how critical now is that pickoff, as that right for the moment keeps the Beacons ahead 4-3. It's an RBI triple for Adam Berry, his 8th RBI of the year.
That's why you can't get picked off there, John. That's just a lazy base running mistake that could potentially cost them the game.
Well, now Mike Ferrara has a chance with a base knock to tie this one up. The Beacons will turn to Tranandozzi to try to lock it down. First pitch to Mike is outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Beacons led 2-0 after 1. Worcester State countered with a run in the third on a bases-loaded walk. Here's the 1-0. Now it's popped up, and it's going to reach the seats. Right to our left, and a souvenir for a lucky fan.
Those are $4.75, John. We can't afford that.
Not here at Monin Park. They may have to chuck that back, as the Beacons will see if Bobby Tranandozzi can chuck his way out of the inning. It's 1-1. Here's the windup. Tranandozzi's 1-1 pitch. Beautiful curveball, and somehow, some way, that is right down the middle for a ball. It's 2-1 to Mike Ferrara, who is 2 for 3 today, couple of singles. Here's the 2-1. Another curveball, swung over it. Sunday hop for Charlie Hughie, and that'll get us out of the inning. But the damage done just a little bit as a couple of runs do come in. They do score 2 runs on 4 hits, including 4 consecutive, a single, a double, as well as a triple that ended up bringing in that 3rd run. We are stretching here from Monin Park through 6.5. It's 4-3 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudras. It's been a topsy-turvy affair with the Beacons jumping out by 2 runs early. Since then, it's been back and forth. That's where we sit right now. It's 4-3. Heading into the bottom of the 7th inning, Luke Brennan will stay on the mound for the Lancers, as he will be countered by 4, 5, and 6. Kyle Boudris, Chris Fowler, and Ryan McCormick to face off against Luke Brennan.
Leading off for your Beacon, 3rd baseman, number 15, Kyle Boudris.
So Boudris on the first pitch laces it to left field for a base hit, and Kyle is on base for the 3rd time today, his 2nd hit. And it's a leadoff single against Brennan for Boudris. So the Beacons, who surrendered 2 runs in the top of this frame, looking to get those insurance runs back with just 6 defensive outs separating them from a victory. And who else would you rather have up here than Chris Fowler, who's 2 for 3 today with 2 runs batted in.
First baseman number 40.
And he's got that big hole to the right side with a runner on first.
That he does as Fowler awaits the first pitch from Brennan. That's on the outside corner with a fastball, 0-1.
I know the second baseman's playing double play depth, double play depth, but I would shade him a little bit closer to the first baseman. That's a big hole, and Fowler likes to use it.
Brennan ready. The 0-1 pitch, just a bit outside. That was a strike in the first inning, but it's 1-1 now to the first baseman, Chris Fowler. McCormick is on deck. Searles in the hole as Fowler insides outs it the opposite way for a base hit. What can he do? What field can he hit it to? As he continues to stroke for Brendan Igerbrote's Beacons, it's 2 men on base with nobody out.
That ball was going to hit him in the back hip, and he just flipped it over the shortstop's head. He's strong. He can do almost anything with the bat. It's unreal.
It really is, as Fowler is now 3 for 4. He's got 2 singles, a double, 2 runs batted in, a homer, and this comes on the heels of his 2 home run performance at Dartmouth yesterday.
Coach Igerbrote has a word with McCormick before stepping to the plate. He could look for a bunt here, but McCormick's a good hitter. He could be swinging away.
Shout out to Seth Orensky on the player to watch pick this evening of Chris Fowler. Nostradamus in the flesh. Here is McCormick as he will try to blow things open. Looking over to second is Brennan. I don't see action for the Lancers in the bullpen, so we may see Brennan just try to work his way through this.
That's good.
It's possible I do. I can't see that far. I got to get glasses at this point. I'm turning 30 this year, Steve. Give me a break.
I got my contacts in, and it seems like there is a righty throwing for Worcester State out there.
So Worcester State does have a right-hander ready to go as UMass Boston clings to a 1-run lead. Ryan McCormick, the batter, and an 0-1 count to the Beacons left fielder. The 0-1, McCormick does bunt, gets it down. It's a good one, but they do go to third to get the lead runner, Boudris, who is retired there. You want to try to get that a little more up the third baseline if you're Ryan McCormick, but nonetheless, that is a fielder's choice, 1-5 on the putout, and it's 1 down for Anthony Searles.
I think that's more on Boudris than McCormick. You got to be expecting he gets the bunt down as soon as the ball hits the bat and it's not in the air. But you gotta get a good jump, take a good secondary lead off second base, and bust your butt to third base once that ball hits the ground.
Anthony Searles is the batter, so that the runner's first and second still, but now 1 out as that breaking ball misses up. Searles is 0 for 3, reached on an error, he popped out and grounded out. He made a beautiful defensive play on a pickoff last inning. Here's the 1-0. High, 2 balls and no strikes to Anthony Searles. Sal Frascino is on deck, but Anthony looking for the big bop here. Here's the 2-0. Just a bit outside, and now Anthony's sitting pretty ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. And do you give him the green light here with the way he's been hitting and 1 out?
No, you don't.
The 3-0. Ball 4, down and away, and so just like that, the bases are full of Beacons for Sal Frascino.
That was also a strike in the first inning, John.
Absolutely, as the zone has clearly thinned out a little bit, and I think that as if you were Worcester State, you're a fan of that, not so much if you're the Beacons, and we may see a double switch here. Actually, it's going to be a pinch hitter, as it's actually the Beacons making the substitution. And Going to be a pinch runner here for, it looks like, the man at second, McCormick. And it will be, as Lionel Danielson will get an opportunity to pinch run. Lionel has one stolen base and one attempt this year.
18, Lionel Danielson.
So I'll spell the end of the evening for Ryan McCormick. Lionel Danielson, the new pinch runner. And we're going to get a pinch hitter as well, as Danny Brown is going to come on in for Sal Frascino.
Pinch hitting for the Beacons, number 37.
Danny
Brown.
is 2 for 6 with 4 runs scored and an RBI. Good for a .333 batting average. So in limited time, he's done a good job as a pinch hitter. Takes that one for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Danny, a freshman from Hudson, New Hampshire, batting left. He's a transfer from UMass Amherst. There's the 1-0. Way inside, just missed nicking the jersey. It's 2-0. Runner at second, Danielson. The runner at first is Searles, and Danny Brown, the batter. The 2-0. Q shot back to second, and that is bad news for UMass Boston at the moment, except they are going to get a run home because that was really, really a lot of confusion all the way around. Coming on in to score is Chris Fowler. Moving to third is Lionel Danielson. Getting retired on the 6-4 fielder's choice is Searles. And Danny Brown is at first base. Excuse me, no, Searles advanced to second. They went to first, 6-3 on the putout. Even I'm confused by that. 6-3 was the putout. The runner coming in to score is Fowler, and it's 5-3 UMass Boston. How about we leave it at that? Here's Lopez, who takes high for a ball. It's 1-0.
Was a confusing play, John, because Lionel was a deer in the headlights right there. Ball was coming at him. He didn't know if he should run or if the ball was going to be caught, and he should try and tag up.
Lionel ends up getting the third. Here's the 1-0, and that one is swung on and missed. 1-1 to Lopez.
Luckily, Searles got a good read on the ball and was able to get to second base before they could turn 2.
Absolutely, and not only that, but it does give Danny Brown an RBI, so Anthony helping out there, and the Beacons get that insurance run. It's 5-3 as this one gets away, and Danielson's wheels will bring him home. A wild pitch for Brennan, and the Beacons have put a 6th run on the board by benefit of that. As Danielson comes around to score for Lionel, it's run number 5 on the year, and the Beacons lead it 6-3. So the Beacons benefiting from 3 Lancers errors and a couple of wild pitches today, as the 2-1 is up and away, 3-1 to Lopez. Bottom half of the 7th inning, Beacons leading it 6-3. The 3-1 to Lopez, down and away, ball 4 gets away, and coming on in to score from third base is Anthony Searles. Another wild pitch, and falling apart at the seams here are the Lancers in the bottom half of the 7th inning. It is another wild pitch. In fact, back-to-back wild pitches that bring in runs. And the Beacons have put 3 on the board. The benefit of just 2 hits here in inning number 7. So here is Nick Herzog. Herzog is 1 for 2 with a walk and a hit by pitch. He took that one down Broadway, 0-1. From the stretch, the 0-1, way inside. Breaking ball misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. So the Beacons saw this one get incredibly tight in the top half of the inning. Have scored 3 runs in the bottom half to blow it back open. It's 7-3, and a pickoff move is not in time. Inning began with a single from Kyle Boudris. Chris Fowler then laced an opposite field base knock to put runners at first and second. Here's the 1-1. That one's grounded towards second, gobbled up out there, and then kicking it was the second baseman. No play as Keenan Kolanda commits an error. That is 4 here in this ball game for the Worcester State Lancers.
That's a tough play for the second baseman. That ball was hit right at the umpire. I don't think he got a good look at it. Didn't really catch it right in front of him. Had to slide to his right a little bit, and I caught him at the right hand. Just bounced between his legs. Was able to pick it up and try and make a play, but it's just, I mean, Lopez is too fast. No chance at Herzog at first base.
So the Beacons now runners at first and second. It's Lopez and Herzog. As Charlie Hughey steps in, he'll take it on the outside corner. 0-1. Fowler, Danielson, and Searles, as well as, those three have scored. Now the runners on the base paths are Herzog and Lopez. Here's the 0-1. Instead, looking back, Lopez, who looked to be limping again out there. It's 0-1 still. Brennan ready, the 0-1 pitch. Curveball, right down Broadway, 0-2 to Charlie Hughey. Dan Mantoni waits on deck here in the bottom of the 7th inning. If he reaches, the Beacons will have batted around. That one is way outside. A good play by McWill, as it looked like deja vu all over again with a potential for a third wild pitch. Counts 1-2 to Josh Lopez. Bottom of the 7th inning, Beacons leading by 4 runs. Here's the 1-2 curveball, called strike 3, struck him out. So Hughey goes down looking and strands Lopez and Herzog on the base pass. But the Beacons do tally 3 runs. They do so with the benefit of just 2 hits and strand 2 men on base. We head to the 8th inning here from Monin Park. It's 7-3 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
So Bobby Tremendozzi will toe the rubber to begin his first full inning of relief work. Along with Steve Consiglio, I am John Skudris. Beacons trying to get things going here in the 8th inning and close things out. And if I'm not mistaken, Steve, we do have some defensive changes for the Beacons.
Yeah, we got Joey Rogers coming in for defense and playing center field. And Danny Brown, after replacing Sal, is going to play right field.
So Joey Rogers, who some were saying might have started today, ended up not, obviously, as it was Josh Gerson towing the rubber for the Beacons. Nonetheless, he is out there in center field. And it will be 5, 6, and 7, begin with Seth Leslie. Bobby Tremendozzi's first pitch. Healthy hack there from Seth as he takes a mighty swing and fouls it back. Leslie today is 0 for 2. Grounded out twice and walked.
Now in left field, Nick Herzog. Now in right field, Danny Brown. And now in center field, Joey Rogers.
Tremendozzi is ready. The windup, the 0-1 pitch. Curveball inside, just missed, nicking the front elbow of the third baseman, Leslie. Bobby ready. Big right-handers 1-1. Another curveball, high and away, 2-1. Beacons 6 defensive outs away from winning for the 6th time in their last 7 games.
This game could be in Bobby's hands. It doesn't look like there's anybody stirring in the Beacons bullpen.
That's a beautiful fastball coming back from the 2 previous curveballs, and that one is right down Broadway, 2-2. From the windup, the 2-2, ground ball second base. Lopez from one knee gobbles it up, fires to first, and Fowler delivers for out number 1. So Leslie has retired 4-3 on the putout, and that'll bring up Kevin Larkin, who's 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts.
Right fielder number 42, Kevin Larkin.
From the windup, Tremendozzi's first pitch, ground ball shortstop. Hughie gobbles it up. It's a long throw, but he's got plenty of strength on that one as he guns him down, looking like Ozzie Smith out there. As retired at first base is Kevin Larkin, 2 down. And it'll bring up the backstop, Dan McWill.
Ozzie Smith might have even done a backflip before throwing the first base there, John.
Well, we'll have to tell Charlie next time to give that a shot. First pitch here to McWill is down the middle for a strike. Anybody on the Beacons have acrobatic abilities? Do you know?
I don't.
I'd love to see a 6'6" guy like yourself try a backflip, land on your head.
I could do one off a diving board, but hopefully there's water underneath.
Hopefully, as the 0-1 pitch is fouled away. So Bobby trying to get out of this one, 1-2-3. A couple of groundouts now an 0-2, just a bit inside as that one just misses. Mike Powers is due up, should McWill reach. Curveball, and that one's popped up. Playable perhaps. Anthony Searles back, and Anthony Searles makes the play. One of the best defensive players in the region delivers yet again for UMass Boston. They are just 3 defensive outs away from triumph this evening, but they'll be headed back to the batter's box next. It's 7-3 UMass Boston, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
No hits, no errors, no one left on base. Coming up for the Beacons in the bottom half.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
New pitcher on the mound for the Lancers of Worcester State, as it's going to be sophomore from Hudson, Massachusetts, Kyle Sullivan towing the rubber for Dirk Baker's club. Sullivan on the campaign is 2-0. This will be his 4th appearance. He does have 1 start. He's got a 2.00 ERA, 9 innings. He's given up 8 hits and 2 earned runs while striking out 10 and walking just 3. So Sullivan's a guy who's got some good stuff, and the 6'1", 195-pound right-hander with a very slow delivery is ready to go.
New catchers, 22 and 5 the shortstop.
We do have a couple of defensive changes as well, as Denman Aguirre is in at shortstop. And the new catcher is James Sheehan, the sophomore from Oxford, Massachusetts. They've gone through 3 catchers today out of the Lancers. And they haven't played since Thursday.
Got to save the knees, John.
Tell it to Anthony Searles, who I've never seen replaced at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough when your backup catcher's playing shortstop.
Desmond Aguirre. And on the mound
Certainly is.
for the Lancers, number
Beacons.
13, Kyle Sullivan.
Charlie Hughie, he's a jack of all trades. He can basically do anything you ask of him out there on the diamond.
Kyle Penny did get 1 start behind Searles, but I thought up until Eddie Riley got replaced by Hughie that Hughie was the backup catcher. It seems like it's Penny now.
Let's hope we don't have to see it anytime soon, as Dan Mantoni will lead things off here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Mantoni today, it's been a rare 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Did reach base and score back in the 5th, but he reached base on an error.
Could be setting up a garbage time home run for Mantoni right here, John.
Let's hope so. As the Beacons lead it by 4, but the more the merrier. as they are just 3 defensive vets away from victory. Is the first pitch from Sullivan's a fastball high, 1-0.
Oh, the wind's still blowing out hard to left. I'm sure Dan's got an eye out there.
Sullivan gets his sign. Right-hander's 1-0 pitch, and that's an off-speed pitch a bit low. 2 balls and no strikes. After Dan, due up is Kyle Boudris and Chris Fowler. Looks like both of those two will bat. Here's the 2-0, and that's ripped down the third base line, a base hit. So it won't be an 0 for 5, as Mantoni's going to get himself an extra base hit. He'll cruise into second standing, and it's a leadoff double for Dan Mantoni. So the Beacons looking to get some insurance. Now have a man at second with nobody out, and it'll bring up Kyle Boudris, but we may have a substitution here, at least a pinch runner. The pinch runner is going to be Nick Cotraro, freshman from Beverly, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Agerbro's just making sure his best player, or one of his best players, Dan Mantoni, is not getting injured on running the bases in a late in the game when he's not playing defense.
So Kyle Boudris will have a new runner at second base in front of him.
Number 19, Nick Cotraro.
Cotraro
Third baseman, number 15.
Is the pinch runner. He actually leads the team in hitting, though doesn't qualify, as he's just 1 for 2 on the year with a double. Getting a chance out there to stretch his legs late in the evening here on a Monday in April. First pitch to Kyle Boudris from Sullivan is in the dirt. It's 1-0. We approach the 10 o'clock hour here in a game that is approaching 2.5 hours from first pitch.
More importantly, we're approaching my bedtime.
You said it. Here's the 1-0. That one's launched deep center field from Kyle Boudris. Ryan on his horse back, squeezes. Tagging from second is Cotraro, and he'll reach third sliding head first. Sacrifice to center field, and that'll move the runner over and give a chance for Chris Fowler to collect his third RBI of the day. So UMass Boston
First baseman, number 40.
Up by 4.
Fowler.
And Chris Fowler, the batter, trying to get this one out of the infield. The infield is in to try to keep this a 4-run game. And if you're anyone on the right side of that infield, you wish you were wearing a face mask right now with how Fowler could scorch it.
You know, Fowler's eyes just lit up when they brought the infield in. Anything he hits hard is going through.
First pitch, breaking ball. Good one, too, as it's right down Broadway, 0-1.
Or it's taking somebody's head off.
Let's hope for the former. Just for pace of game issues.
That's a good point.
Here's the 0-1. Another breaking ball. That's high. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chris Fowler with
Joey Rogers.
Joey Rogers, who came in for Lionel Danielson on deck. So many changes here in the later portions of this game for Brendan Agerbro's club. And you can do that when you're up by 4 heading into the bottom of the 8th inning. The Beacons benefiting from 4 Lancer errors today.
You always want to have your best defense in there when you're up a couple runs.
Sullivan back on the mound. Fowler awaiting a 1-1 pitch, and that one's ripped foul off the screen. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at third base is the pinch runner, Nick Cotraro. Fowler awaiting Sullivan's 1-2 pitch. Ripped up the third base line. That's going to reach the seats, metaphorically speaking.
If that's fair, it's gone. That wind just took it once it got up over the monster. Wow.
Sometimes you just a little bit too late, and that's the case for Fowler there. He'll try to turn this one around. Sullivan ready. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. He struck him out, and Sheehan will gun down to first to retire Fowler for the second out. It's Fowler's first strikeout of the day, and it's 2 down here in the 8th inning. Here's Joey Rogers, the batter. Rogers on the campaign, a paltry 056. 4 for 18. He does have a triple. He's also driven in 2.
Number 9, Joey Rogers.
First pitch from Sullivan's a bit low. Sullivan ready. Right-hander from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. That one on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. The batter is Joey Rogers. Here's the 1-1. That one's in the dirt. Blocked there by Sheehan. Lost sight of it, but no chance for Cotraro to mosey his way home. Beacons lead at 7-3, bottom half of the 8th inning. Along with Steve Consiglio, I'm John Skudras here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Here's the 2-1. Rogers rolls over on this one, chops it to second, gobbled up there by the second baseman Colanda, and fires over to first to retire the side. So that'll do it for the 8th inning. The Beacons do get a runner to third base, but he's stranded there. We are headed to the 9th. 3 more outs to go, separating the Beacons from their 10th victory of the 2017 campaign. They lead at 7-3 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Round for UMass Boston as they will look to close out what will be their 10th victory of 2017. They lead at 7-3 here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. My partner in crime to my right is Steve Consiglio. I am John Skudras. UMass Boston today got ahead early in the first inning, Steve, and they have not looked back.
Yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning, it wasn't going to be a 1-0 game. I mean, the Lancers were able to out-hit the Beacons, but they weren't able to play clean defense. They got 4 errors. Beacons have none, and it shows in the score.
UMass Boston leading 7-3 despite getting out-hit 9-8. So it's been those errors, a couple of wild pitches also that have really contributed. And right now the pinch hitter is going to be the freshman from Bristol, Connecticut, the home of ESPN, Chad Richardson. Standing at 6'3", 205. He is an imposing figure in the left-handed batter's box for these Lancers as Tremendozzi's ready. First pitch to Richardson is on the outside corner with a fastball, 0-1. Richardson is 2 for 7 on the year. Good for 286. He's driven in 2. It's the 0-1. Curveball. Good pitch. Ground ball shortstop. To his left, Hughie. And Charlie has time to fire across to retire Richardson. And there is 1 down here in the top half of the 9th inning.
I'd like to keep everybody in the Beacons Broadcasting Network updated. I almost signed my resignation as Seth Orensky threatened to put me back on the camera. Now I am sticking around because he does have a big smile on his face, that pretty little face.
Well, you do great camera work, although you're so tall it can be difficult to see over you during hockey. I know Matt Meisenbacher has pulled his hair out sometimes during hockey broadcasts because of your length. Here's the first pitch to another pinch hitter. It's Brian Poilucci, North Attleboro native, and another freshman for these Lancers. 1-0 pitch from Tremendozzi. Fastball cut on and missed, and Brian had no chance. Beacons 2 outs away from their 10th victory of the year. would improve to 10-5 as this one's grounded to first base. Fowler, Sunday hop, easy play himself, 3 unassisted. And down to their final out now are the visiting Lancers, as it will be Jake Ryan. Ryan is 1 for 4 on the day. He singled in his last at bat. He struck out twice and also grounded out.
It's always nice to see the Beacon softball girls, after splitting today, show up and watch the end of the baseball game after their games ended.
Beacon's looking to win this one. Going away, 7-3. First pitch to Ryan is up for a ball. We'll be back on the air on Wednesday as UMass Boston takes on Suffolk. That one right here on the Beacon's Broadcasting Network. Tune in if you have no other plans or if you can't make it down to Monin Park. Coverage getting underway shortly after 7 p.m. From the windup, Tramandozzi's 2-0 pitch. Ryan, ground ball, second base side. Lopez gobbles it up, fires to first to retire the side and end the ball game. So UMass Boston triumphant in improving to 10-5 overall as they defeat their rivals from Worcester State by a final score of 7-3. Our player of the game this evening on the Beacon's Broadcasting Network, Steve, who else could it be but Chris Fowler? He has been outstanding all season, especially of late, and he came through very early, got the Beacons up 2-0, and they never looked back.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a strong day from Joe McGuire as well, who came in and shut the door after Steve Wachowski struggled a little bit in the third inning. He threw 3 shutout innings, and the Beacons kind of a little hiccup over in the 7th, but Bobby came in and closed the door.
Yeah, Gerson started the game, went 2 fine innings after Wachowski allowed a run in an erratic 4th inning. He ended up seeing Joe McGuire come in and pitch 3 brilliant frames before running into a little bit of trouble late. Joe's the one who ends up getting the W for this one, and it's rightfully deserved and well-earned for McGuire as he gets the victory for Joe. That is his first victory of the season, so good stuff for him as the Beacons do win it by a final score, as you see there, of 7-3 as the Beacons improve to 10-5. And they haven't played a lot of LEC matchups yet, Steve, but a non-conference victory like this just serves to boost the confidence and present them with an opportunity to perhaps take the LEC by storm once they do get into the nitty-gritty of a conference schedule.
It was a tough split yesterday. They wanted to win 2, but they'll be on the road next weekend and against Rick, Rhode Island College, and they're looking to sweep and try and host the LEC tournament for 2 years in a row.
So the win tonight goes to Joe McGuire. He improves to 1-0. The loss goes to the starting pitcher for the visitors. That's Tyler Barry. He now falls to 0-3 for the Lancers. Before we do sign off, I wanted to look ahead to see what's coming up here for UMass Boston in the coming days and weeks for this baseball team. As you see here on your screen, on Thursday at Worcester State, they'll then be at Rhode Island College on Saturday, and then on Monday, a home matchup against MIT. Also a rescheduled game on Wednesday against Suffolk right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. I want to thank our production team, as always, for doing a phenomenal job in getting the show on the road and going. Our producer, Seth Orensky. Our directors, Rachel Maslak and Alyssa Fugel. Julia Murphy on Instant Replay did a little directing as well. Our camera operators, Maddie Burns, Sarah Alenardo, and Eileen Shee. And my partner in crime tonight, former Beacons right-hander, Steve Consiglio, as he brought the color commentary home in a Beacons victory. Again, the final score for Steve, I'm John Scudris. The Beacons win it 7-3 and improve to 10-5. Until next time here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, good night, good luck, and good baseball. Well, have a great night, everybody.